National Raceway here from the beautiful Phoenix, Arizona for week number 3 or week number 4 of the ECR Cup Series season. We weren't here last week due to some iRacing updates and technical issues. We did run a fun race that wasn't broadcasted, but we do want to fill you guys in. The points race for Phoenix will be going on, or for Las Vegas, excuse me, will be going on the first off week. But tonight we're at Phoenix with the Open Dog League, as you can see on the ticker, and we're excited to get things underway. So, Colin, I know you've got a few things you want to touch on here before we pull in our drivers for the interviews.
Well, John, if you take a look at practice results, everybody is consistently fast. Everybody, the top 20, John, are all within just under half a second of each other, and it's going to be a really competitive race tonight, and it's going to be tough to see if these guys are able to make passes as easy as they were able to last night. Phoenix is a flat track. It's a small track. There's a lot of racing room, but not a lot of room to make passes. Kind of contradicting my own statement right there, but Phoenix is a tough place to pass, John, and that's where we're going to have to look for a lot today. Track position is definitely going to be key.
And it's not that it's necessarily a one-groove racetrack by any means. You can run high, you can run low. Obviously, the low line is preferred in most cases, but you really can't put two cars in the same place on the racetrack. And I know that most of the incidents we see at Phoenix are two cars that just kind of end up in the same spot because the high line pushes out so far, or the low line pushes out so far, and the high line kind of comes off the corner and comes down. So you really can't race side by side too much, but passing is difficult. Another thing I wanted to touch on really quick is our weather. We pull up our nice weather ticker here provided by George Price that shows you guys just how hot and slick this track is. 115 degrees down there on that Phoenix asphalt, and it's going to be slick. I know we saw last night, Colin, it wasn't all that fun to drive.
It really wasn't, John. It's really hot. It's really slick. And that just makes for a loose car. It makes for a very unstable car. And I think that's where tonight is going to be definitely for the drivers who have set up their car to be stable on the long runs. I think we're going to see a lot of guys taking it easy, which is going to give us that long run feel. And I think guys who are the most consistent will probably prevail in the end.
Certainly, I think it's going to be one of those nights of comers and goers. I think you're going to see some guys that are really good early on and then some guys that are kind of built for that longer run. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on here, actually, we'll do it after we pull our drivers in. So I'll go ahead and pull down Anthony Thitchner, your league president. We'll get these interviews kicked off.
Anthony Thitchner, man, last night at Xfinity Series win, you got your first top 10 in the Xfinity Series last night, and you come to the Cup Series race tonight, and you're running in the top 5 in practice, man. You got to feel good about your chances tonight.
Oh, definitely, man. It's been one heck of a week. We've been working hard, trying to get the guys up there, and just trying to keep the confidence up. It's been a tough couple weeks here. Obviously, Haters Make Us Famous Racing has had a lot of DNS, been involved in a lot of incidents from other guys. So we're trying to keep it clean, get out front, and just stay away from it tonight, man. And we had the power to do that with the open setups here tonight. So we're looking forward to it, see what it brings to us. It's a long race, and see what it happens, man. I definitely feel good about the chances, though. You know, like I said, it was a long race tonight. Learned a lot. Had some luck in the NIS this week. So yeah, man, just looking forward to it.
Exactly, man. You touched on it. You've had a lot of success this week. You've worked hard. You've driven countless laps. And not to mention, you have the momentum coming back from our last race back at Atlanta 2 weeks ago. You ran in the top 5. You finished in the top 5. You gained 16 points, up to 7th in the points position. Tied for 7th with Charles Silver, in fact. But all you need is a win, and you're in the chase. You have to feel, I mean, the momentum shifting towards your team with the top 5 last week in the Cup Series and then a win last night in the Xfinity.
For sure, man, for sure, and I just hope it keeps continuing that way. Obviously, it makes it harder when you're not finishing every single week, and you're working so hard. It's like, what do you do, you know? So we worked really hard this week to just try to get everything we can out of it and see what, you know, we gave 100% this week. We just put it all out there and see what it gets us. So all we can ask is just go out there and give it all we can, man. It's a short track. We know incidents can happen, and I hope it goes as a good race tonight. Look forward to it. Look forward to everybody watching the race tonight. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Absolutely, man. With qualifying almost ready to set go, we'll let you get down to your car, and good luck tonight, and good luck qualifying, and good luck in the rest of the race, man.
I appreciate it, bud. Thank you.
And that was the driver number 87, Jim Dean's Chevy, and your league president. We'll back up and he can get to his car, and we'll pull down the number 4 car, I believe, of Jeff Hamilton.
Hey, Jeff Hamilton, this is Colin from up in the ECR broadcast booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, Jeff, man, you started out the season great. You started out with the pole in Daytona. You ran you were one of the fastest cars there all week. But so far, you've struggled. I mean, you've been consistently just outside the top 10, but you haven't been able to get the runs. Do you feel like the seat time you got, extra seat time you got last night in the Xfinity Series is going to help you out tonight?
Well, I sure hope so. I want to get this Budweiser Jimmy John's up there for Apocalypse Motorsports, and it's a tough crowd here. I'm just going to take it easy at first. It's really slippery. It's really hot out, so just going to hope to get a top 10 and have a really clean run.
Absolutely, man, and we were just touching on how consistency is definitely going to pay off tonight, and maybe it's just from experience, but you seem to be one of the more consistent drivers out there in ECR. Do you feel like that's going to help you fail tonight?
Well, I sure hope so. I think it's going to be a little bit of avoidance, too. There's some hard chargers that there might be a few cautions there. Just going to have to really keep my wits about me and make sure I don't get into anything. Keep my fenders on there for the last 50, and hopefully I can get the number 4 up there.
Absolutely, man. Well, qualifying's just getting ready to go. Good luck tonight in your number 4, Jimmy John's, Budweiser, Chevrolet, and good luck. Try to get your first top 10 of the year.
Right on. Thank you very much.
And as Colin mentioned, that was the driver of the number 4 Budweiser Jimmy John Chevrolet, Jeff Hamilton. So as we get ready to qualify, a few things we should touch on qualifying, as always, is open car, which isn't that big of a deal at most tracks, but here at Phoenix can pose a problem, Colin. I know there's always the issue of break points, and there's always the issue of getting off the corner. And tonight, I think we're going to see some guys have some laps messed up due to just bad placement.
Absolutely, John, and it happened to me last night. It took me, 4 or 5 runs to get what I wanted to do, because I kept getting caught behind people, and I wasn't able to get the runs I wanted to off the corner. And eventually I did get the right one, but some drivers may not. I mean, you might see AJ Scarborough is up there fastest in practice. He may not even start inside the top 10 just because of other cars getting in the way and such. So there's definitely the factor of these guys have to enter the track just after the dog leg, so everything could post a factor, and it's definitely going to be an interesting experience for the first time of open qualifying on a short track.
It certainly is. The guys are out of their pits and qualifying is underway, so we'll see who can get out there and post the fastest lap and see how it mirrors practice. I know, as you touched on, practice numbers here don't always equal to qualifying, so it'll be interesting to see these guys go out here, run around, and see what they can do.
Absolutely, John, and looks like the first car out there, I believe, is AJ Scarborough. He's the first one out there. He was fastest in practice, and his number 5, Miller Lite Chevrolet with Anthony Titchener. AJ Scarborough, a nice save off turn 4 right there. And a nice lap posted by his number 5 machine. Justin Bland not quite able to put the lap AJ Scarborough did. As you see, 8 drivers have completed a lap so far. AJ Scarborough still up top. He's going to re-enter the track and try to best his lap out there. Justin Bland second. Bob Burns, the first Ford out there. He's going to be so far is third. As Anthony Titchener bumps him down to 4th. We just talked to him. Anthony Titchener up to 3rd now.
A quick apology if my mic is having issues tonight, guys. Please let me know in the chat. I am working on levels here. I don't know what the issue is. But before we go green, if there's anything wrong with the stream, please let us know in chat. We're always watching it, keeping an eye. And if anything's wrong, fill us in. One thing, Con, I do want to touch on here as these guys go out to make their qualifying laps. We are running the first race of the season with the new rules package.
Absolutely, John. You don't think that's going to post such a factor, and usually it doesn't. The different builds in iRacing doesn't usually post a factor. But with the new rules package that NASCAR has implemented in their cars, since this is a simulated series, everything's meant to be the same as NASCAR itself. So the lower spoiler on the rear end of the car, it's lower, so that gives them more downforce. But they also have a reduced horsepower, so they're not getting as much speed down the straightaway, which in hindsight, well, lack of a better term, is going to make them faster in the turns and slower down the straightaways.
Which in theory would make the car slower, but as you're seeing right now, AJ Scarborough with a very fast lap out there, certainly not slowing these guys up too much at all.
Absolutely not. And Kevin Cook posted, these guys were 1st and 2nd in practice, and they're 1st and 2nd in qualifying.
Anthony Titchener actually up to P2.
Oh, wow.
Bumps Kevin Cook and showing exactly the same lap as AJ Scarborough to the hundreds. tight battle for that top spot right now.
Oh,
AJ
AJ Scarborough bests his lap. AJ Scarborough with a nice lap, almost as good as his first practice time, down to a 1.90. AJ Scarborough in his number 5 Miller High Life Chevrolet SS.
As we see a car spinning the number 9 car hard on the inside wall. Keep an eye on that tonight. The exit of turn 2 when that banking switches from that high degree of banking, not high degree, but higher degree of banking in the corner to kind of that down slope to the dog leg. It can be a little tricky with as much horsepower as these cars have.
Absolutely, John, especially in the latter part of a run to where the tires are get a little used up, which was another thing. It brings up another point that the tires have not been falling off. I don't know, the tire Goodyear brought here to Phoenix seems to really be holding grip as better than any tire we've seen so far. I know Anthony Fisher touched on it before the race, before his interview that we were talking, that he doesn't seem to have the fall off that most drivers would normally see as such a flat, fast track like Phoenix. And he said Josh Mayu in the 61 also was experiencing less fall off than he expected. So maybe the new rules package has helped the drivers out in that sense.
I think it'll fit more of this style of racing as compared to what we saw at Daytona or in Atlanta in the week 2. I think it'll show up more here with the less downforce on the rear end of the car, with the kind of less horsepower, maybe a little bit slower speeds off the corner. I think you'll see here tonight who's able to get a grip on it and then who kind of struggles with it going forward. But obviously, they are running for the rest of the season, so whoever can jump on it quickest might have a bit of advantage in the points.
Absolutely, John. And another thing we want to mention is that Aaron Berge, 2 weeks ago, winner at Atlanta, will not be participating tonight. He has some prior engagements that he is unable to make it. But as long as he completes 13 races, half of the races prior to the chase in the regular season, quote-unquote here in ECR, he will be qualified for the chase at the end of the season because he does have that one win. In addition, Thomas Lattimore, the winner at Daytona, is currently 7th in qualifying.
And Aaron getting that win early on in the season allows him the luxury to do things like this. If he does have prior engagements, maybe he doesn't like a track, he can sit those out and still make the chase. He's comfortably in, and I don't think we're going to see, what is that, a 12-car chase this year? So I don't think we're going to see 13 winners this season. I think that's kind of narrowed down, and I think we should have probably 2-3 spots open to points. So I think it'll come down to the winners and then a few on points. Yep. So if they get a win, it should be a win in your end.
Well, John, I agree with you on that point, but if you take a look at the ECR Xfinity Series so far, we have 4 different winners at 4 races so far. So maybe something coming along the lines of that, to where the ECR, the talent level is so balanced that everybody really has a chance to win every week. And that's seen in qualifying right here with the top, I believe, 20 so far inside within half a second.
I think the closest thing we can compare Aaron Berge sitting out would be maybe Kyle Busch sitting on a truck race. I mean, it kind of opens up the field. Aaron Berge's been so dominant the end of last season in the Xfinity Series and then at the beginning of this season in Cup that when he sits out, I mean, it opens the door for a lot of guys. Anthony Fisher's one that has probably had the second fastest car almost every week. He's got a good chance to win, and then we go down the list, Justin Bland.
Justin Bland, wow, look at him, jumps to the second.
Speaking of Justin Bland, the second place on the charts.
Only
Actually,
5 thousandths off of AJ
almost
Scarborough.
mirroring AJ Scarborough. But AJ's a guy, too, we don't talk about a lot. He's had some bad luck, some bad breaks. He certainly hasn't exactly loved the setups on his cars to start off the season. But he's sticking in there, and he's looking like he's probably going to grab his first pole. I believe his first pole of the season.
Yes, sir, that would be his first pole. And so far, I mean, how about these Chevys really outlasting the Fords so far? You got the Chevys up in the top 4, then Fords are 5th and 7th. So the manufacturer changes. We don't see a Toyota all the way down to 15th in the number 9, and Nick Gillis is the first Toyota in the field right now.
And I always seem to see that trend here on iRacing. Toyotas just don't seem to perform as well. I don't know if that's just driver and car choice or if there's something behind that. I don't know the exact specs on these cars. I imagine they're identical.
You'd think so, but it seems that they're a little changed there. Couldn't really explain it myself. But you do notice it. I definitely agree with you on that part where you definitely notice the difference.
I do want to take a quick second here. We have a few new viewers in the stream just to kind of explain what's going on. This is the Elite Championship Racing League Cup Series. It runs every Tuesday night at 9:30 right here on twitch.tv/I'mJoeCavs. And what this is, it's iRacing.com. It's a racing simulator that is based on online racing and actually has only online racing. So everyone you see tonight is an actual driver behind the wheel of his car. These are all guys out there competing, and what happens is based on their finishing position, they get fantasy funds, and it goes to kind of an ownership system just like you would see in the real sport of NASCAR, and there's a points championship, and there's all kinds of cool incentives with that. So what you're looking at tonight really does matter to these guys. These are open setups. They've worked on these cars. They've built them. See Anthony Titchener just dodging the 5. I don't know if he's on a lap or not. But they've built and they tweaked and they've worked on their setups for almost 2 weeks now, I would think, after Vegas got canceled last week or postponed. So these guys have put a lot of time in. So what you're seeing here is certainly not just a game. This is quite serious to these competitors and quite serious to us as well, Colin. We take this sim pretty seriously, and I know these guys do as well.
Oh, absolutely, John. And people, I mean, essentially what iRacing is it's a competitive competitive racing service to give you the consumer, apparently, I guess you could say, is the best racing experience possible.
As close as most of us are ever going to get to driving a race car.
Real life race. Exactly.
Because where this service might
Justin
cost
Bland
you
hard to crash on the front stretch.
You know, upwards of, I think we each spent almost 4 digits. I know you're probably well over 1,000. I'm getting there myself. But that's not even close to the comparison of buying a real, even a Legends car, which is probably one of the lowest series, or Bandolero. I mean, those are lower, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and then you've got to pay for, you know, everything that goes with it. So to come on here and be able to race at 200 miles an hour, in the closest you're going to get to an actual competitive racing simulator, is quite fun, and it's enjoyable, and these guys love doing it. I mean, they've got the season, and they put, like I said, time and effort, and a lot of money goes into this as well, you know, with buying the tracks and everything. So it's something these guys can do, and we do on an almost nightly basis to enjoy the sport of racing, and it's quite enjoyable. So if you guys want to check it out, the link to iRacing is down below. You can always sub. They've got specials going on all the time with different car and track combos, and if you don't like it, you don't waste too much money. I think it's only, what, $12 for 3 months usually. So if you want to try it out, by all means, do it with a controller to start, buy a wheel upgrade. It's a lot of fun. But qualifying's coming in here. Your poll is going to go to AJ Scarborough. Looks like Justin Bland and Anthony Titchener just missed it by the narrowest of margins.
Thomas Lattimore is going to start 4th tonight. Kevin Cook will be 5th in his number 45 machine. Rob Burns, he's in the top 5 in points. He's going to start 6th. Matthew George 7th. And our in-race reporter, John, George Price, is going to start 8th. Let's see if we can bring him up here in the broadcast booth for a second. Hey, George Price, this is Colin up here in the ECR broadcast booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, you and your teammate Thomas Lattimore have the momentum, man. Both of you have top 5s in both of the races so far, and not to mention you guys are both starting inside the top 10 tonight. You have to feel good about your chances to keep that momentum going forward.
Oh yeah, we got a real good setup here tonight.
Absolutely, man. You struggled in practice. Now, do you guys have more of a long run setup, or is it just focused on the short run, not really expecting a long run tonight?
No, we got a pretty good long run setup too. So I came in to practice a little late, but I think everyone else is doing a little sandbagging.
Absolutely, man. And start 8th tonight. You're 16th fastest in practice. You start 8th, and you're number 48. Have a lean Ford Fusion, and good luck tonight, man. And good luck the rest of the season, obviously. And try to get that momentum, keep going forward.
Thank you.
And that was a driver number 48, George Price, starting 8th tonight. So as the grid gets ready to roll here, it's going to be a fun one, guys. I know we've had a few this season that haven't exactly been the most intense racing, but tonight should change that. We've got Phoenix, which is probably one of the, I guess, closest to a dirt track you can really get in the NASCAR circuit. So that'll be interesting. And then you've got these guys out there with the new rules package. They had last week off. They've worked on their setups. You got the dog leg. We'll talk more about that as the night goes on, and it's going to be a fun one tonight.
Absolutely, John. And you mentioned it right there. They had last week off. Anxiety is there, John. You know these guys want to go. They haven't raced in 2 weeks. These guys want to get out there, and they want to get qualified for the chase. Guys like Thomas Lattimore and Aaron Berge obviously not here, but Thomas Lattimore starts 4th tonight. He has nothing to lose. He can go out there, race as hard as he wants, and he can go out there and take it easy. There's nothing to lose for him. Other drivers want to get into that position to where they have nothing to lose.
And again, the chase is the version of the postseason. So essentially when we say chase, we mean playoffs, and a win essentially guarantees you a spot in the playoffs. So the pace car rolls. Is a very quick pace lap here. I believe they only do the half lap. AJ Scarborough going to lead him down to green. It's going to be Justin Bland, Anthony Titchener, Thomas Lattimore, and Kevin Cook. Your front three rows should be a fun restarts all night long.
Absolutely, John. That's one thing I look for. All the different break points, different break biases. Guys have to break earlier, and some guys have to break later. This is the way the setup works. So different setups, different driver styles, everything plays into a factor tonight. We got 23 cars, I believe 23 cars tonight, and we're gonna have a fun race and fun one here.
Pace car's off, and AJ Scarborough is going to get the jump, and he is gone down the front stretch. Anthony Titchener right behind him. Justin Bland didn't get a restart at all. Big mover back in the pack. That's a 12 car,
I think that's a factor of haters make us famous racing, communicating very well, John. And AJ Scarborough and Anthony Titchener pulling away Justin Bland, trying to settle in third place.
You knew Anthony Titchener, he's going to be up near the front all night long, and knowing Anthony personally and how he races, he's not going to want to wait to get to that lead. He likes being out front, and he's going to go after him hard. Doesn't matter if it's lap 2 or lap 200, he is going.
AJ Scarborough completes lap 1. He's going to get that 1 bonus point tonight here at Phoenix International Raceway with only 155 laps to go, John.
Not a very long race tonight. Phoenix goes by extremely quick. You see Anthony Titchener there cutting the dogleg. That is an advantage that guys can use. Nothing out of bounds here at Phoenix. If it's paved, you can go there. You'll see him running below the yellow line in turns 3 and 4. You'll see him cutting the dogleg, sometimes all the way down to the wall. If it's paved, they'll put the 4 tires there.
Absolutely, John. Look at this Hornets nest we got back there battling. It looks like for 8th place or so. Aaron Vincent involved, George Price, we talked to him. Wayne Willard cuts off the 9, Nick Geilis, and Luis Salmazo, Jeff Hamilton, whole bunch of Hornets nest back here, battle for 10th on back.
And it's hard to explain to the viewer at home that's never been behind the wheel of one of these things. You see the 19 go inside the 48 through the dogleg, how hectic this is because of the braking and the different brake points, and like you said, the brake biases. You never know when all of a sudden that guy's bumper is going to get real big in front of you. So being on your tippy toes back here in the pack, very important, especially early on when you don't know who you're racing around. Anthony Titchener inside, Scarborough way up the hill.
Really overdrove. I'm not sure if he tried letting him by and just overdrove the entry, but AJ Scarborough definitely loses the lead there, and Anthony Titchener is going to take advantage, and Kevin Cook wants to take advantage as well.
One thing here at Phoenix, these cars do not like to be turned right, so if you get yourself in a situation where you have to kind of correct the car, it pretty much kills your whole corner. You almost just have to lift and let the car do its thing. It looks like that might have happened there to AJ, but Anthony's going to grab it, and he is set sail. Looking back now in the battle for 3rd position, Kevin Cook and Justin Bland want to be that first one to Scarborough's bumper.
And I've been really watching this battle, John, and it seems Kevin Cook really is working the inside and Justin Bland really working the outside, obviously. And what the problem with that is that Justin Bland's probably overdriving the entry, which is really going to hurt his right front on a long run. So he has to be careful of that. I know we mentioned tire wear is probably not going to play into a huge factor tonight, but still could play a factor if need be.
Phoenix is one of those tracks that's really frustrating, at least to me, where it just doesn't feel like you're ever doing something right here. It feels like you're either underdriving entry, you're overdriving entry, you're not getting off fast enough or straight enough. You just never really feel comfortable. It's such a flat track, and it's so hot and so slick. It's in the middle of Arizona desert, so obviously it's never really cool out here. So it's always such a slick racetrack, and it's always so difficult to get comfortable behind the wheel of this car.
And John, speaking from experience, I've had a lot of success at Phoenix over the years on iRacing and different leagues and official races and everything like that. And you feel like you always can get just that much faster, even though you probably can't. You just feel like you can. You feel like you're losing time somewhere. And I feel like that's definitely going to play into the minds of these drivers tonight. It's probably going to be able to who can keep their composure the longest.
You know, Darlington comes to mind when we think of a place like Phoenix because you're just so on edge here. Because at any point the car can just snap out from under you. You're never really... You know, you go to a track like Las Vegas or Texas where you kind of get into a groove and it's a rhythm racetrack. But here, with the way the tires wear, they don't really wear consistently. And it's such a difficult track because it breaks like a short track, but it kind of races like a mile and a half. So you don't really ever settle in because you're constantly switching between different strategies. So it'll be interesting to see if any of these guys kind of lose focus. You can easily lose focus here and spin the car out.
I can't help but watch this battle back here, John, starting with Nick Groth in the 19, all the way back to Luis Salmazo in the 72. These guys, actually, that even has gone farther back to Ron Miller in the 78, Jeff Hamilton in the 4, Josh Mayu in the 61. Just a huge Hornets nest of cars. They started to single file out, but still an amazing battle out here. as Anthony Fitcher and AJ Scarborough have just set sail.
And Phoenix is one of those tracks that it spreads out just as easy as it bunches up. I mean, you can easily spread this field out and get 5, 6, 7 cars between these cars, but all it takes is one guy to slip, and it's so hard to pass that it doesn't take long to bunch all of it back up. So I think we'll kind of see an accordion effect all night where, see, Luis Salzman going to pull low here. I believe that's the 78 Iran. Nothing really for him, but these guys are going to, they're going to bunch up and spread out, and it can be kind of frustrating because you can never really get away from cars here. It's a very Bristol-like feeling.
And I know that happened to you last night, John, in the Xfinity Series. You had that couple cars, not as fast as others as yourself, and you kind of lost the line of group. I think you were, 14 seconds behind myself, and I was 7 seconds behind the leader myself. So everybody was really just bunched up. It's all an accordion effect. You mentioned it right there. It's all just one person loses a tenth, you lose 2/10, the guy behind you loses 3/10. It's just that type of track.
Luis Salzman is going to lose it. What a great save by him for the dogleg. That's a huge risk of cutting that dogleg as the car doesn't want to go down the banking, and he's going to get into Jeff Hamilton.
Can he save it? He's
2
down
saves in 1 lap for Luis
save.
Salzman. What a drive.
Now he's going to have to regain his composure, John, because his tires are hot on an already slick track. He's going to be very loose, and he has to be careful to not overdrive it right now.
And now you're angry at probably the only person you can really get angry at Phoenix, and that's yourself. And that's, once you start getting angry at yourself, you'll see you just start making mistakes. He doesn't appear to have that much damage to the race car, a little bit maybe on that left rear, but a great 2 saves in a lap there, and a good job holding on to that race car.
How about the job Jeff Hamilton did of not overreacting to the car coming up and hitting him in the door? He's able to keep that car straight and not really lose that much time to Ron Miller in the 78.
No, one thing you can't do here is because it's such a flat track, if you get bumped, your best bet is just to keep going straight. The car will most of the time catch itself, but if you get bumped here, you can't do like out of Las Vegas or in Atlanta and hook the car right and keep it straight. You kind of got to just let the car ride it out. And a good job by Jeff there of doing that and maintaining control.
I do want to point out, John, that Charles Silver in the 7, I don't know if he's having connection issues or what, but he's about to go a lap down. He's really off the pace in his number 7 machine. He's just about to go a lap down. It's Anthony Fitcher, the leader, gets by him. Charles Silver on the apron in 3-4.
Looks like he might be coming to pit road. I don't know what's wrong with that number 7 machine, but it doesn't look good.
It doesn't seem he has any damage.
No, nothing shown on the race car. He is going to bring it down pit road.
He is on pit road.
Not a scheduled pit stop by any means. Something up with Charles Silver. We'll try to get you a report on that just as soon as we can. Back to your leader, Anthony Fitcher, though. He's not Aaron Berge in this field, for lack of a better term. He's only got a 0.9 second lead over second place AJ Scarborough. So keeping touch, he might be saving, but they've kind of gapped Kevin just a little bit, but certainly not driving away with it as we're accustomed to seeing his bitter rival Aaron Berge do.
I just want to point out here, John, that you see Haters Minkus Famous Racing currently 1st, 2nd, and 8th, and then Apocalypse Motorsports 3rd and 9th, and then Leadfoot Motorsports 4th and 5th with Justin Bland Racing in 6th and 7th. So you see the teammates that have similar setups seem to be having the same amount of success.
And caution on the racetrack. Not exactly sure who got caught up in that. I don't see anything.
Oh, I got a car right here, John. It looks like Aaron Vincent in the 49. Major damage to his number 49 machine.
All tore up. We'll go back and try to get you a look here. All right, so we see him down here. He's in turn 3. He's got the 9, I believe, of Nick Giles all over his back end here.
Not sure if he had help.
Ooh,
not,
Nick
John.
comes off the wall, tags him just a
wow.
little bit, and around he goes. So nothing Aaron can do there. Just wrong place, wrong time. It looks like I believe
he started
that's
to let
9
him go
of Nick.
too, John.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to race him. I think that was just a product of not being in the good spot. And that car all tore up. That's not, as long as it's not hurt too bad, the arrow's not going to hurt him, but I imagine there's some significant damage to the chassis of that car.
Absolutely, John. I was talking to, he almost came up and hit Anthony Fitcher after the fact, but I feel so bad for Aaron Vincent, John. I was talking to him before the race tonight, and he mentioned that he had consistently, we got the top 4 staying out here.
Pit strategy play here, the top 4, and then that's I believe a lead lap car staying out, or a lap down car.
Yeah, I believe Charles Silver will probably get the lucky dog tonight,
So
or this lap. He's 2 laps down.
The top 3 stay out. Thomas Lattimore in 4th, the first to come to pit road. I believe everybody followed him from the back. So early pit strategy here, 18 laps into this event. We know tires don't wear a lot, but certainly maybe a little bit. We'll take a quick break, guys. We're going to step away, run a quick commercial. We thank you guys for coming out tonight, and we'll get you reset and recycle when we come back. And while you were away, an interesting turn of events. Kevin Cook in the 45 pits out of 3rd position on the 2nd pace lap. Looks like he's going to take 4 tires, fill her up. Not sure the call there, but he pits nonetheless, and gives up 3rd spot all the way to the tail end now for Kevin Cook.
Definitely, like as you mentioned, a change in events for sure. Not really sure what he wants to do there, but definitely change events, but that's going to give Thomas Lattimore a huge advantage, John. First car off pit road with 4 fresh, good years.
And he's going to be in that coveted 3rd position. Exactly. That's where you want to be here. That's essentially the catbird seat at Phoenix most of the time. In real NASCAR racing, the outside line can hold its own. Here on iRacing with the without the rubber and all that stuff, the inside groove here usually going to be the better place to be. And 3rd position, not a bad place to be at all with 4 fresh Goodyears. So we're going to grid them up here. Your top 5, Anthony Ditcher in the 87. AJ Scarborough going to be in that 5 on the outside line. Thomas Lattimore, as you said, the first car in 4 fresh tires, starting 3rd. Justin Bland in the 65 in 4th. And then Wayne Willard working his way up into the top 5 in that 01.
Rob Burns going to restart 6th. John Shaw Medling in the 37. He's going to restart 7th. Nick Groth and George Price going to be 8th and 9th respectively. They were the front part of that Hornets nest we were mentioning. And Joey Lamb loses a couple spots on pit road. He's going to restart 10th. That's your top 10 here, John, as we reset. And just a quick mention right here, Charles Silver, I'm not sure why, but he did not receive the lucky dog on the last yellow flag. So he is still currently 2 laps down in the 21st position as he's going to restart the tail end of the field here.
They're going to come out of turn number 2. It's going to be the front row from the race, but flipped. AJ Scarborough, Anthony Titchener. Looking to get things going here. The pace car is going to take that hard left turn to pit road, and Anthony Titchener on the gas and gone.
Green flag, green flag.
Not gone by
Not
much,
really.
though.
Thomas Lattimore did not get a good jump, I'll tell you that right now. Not a very good jump out of 0-3. Can he make it stick off the bottom, off turn 2? He is. He's going to get right up there. Oh, AJ Scarborough chops him.
That's a chop there by AJ. Lucky Thomas Lattimore was paying attention and didn't get into the back of him. Lattimore using those new tires, though. You saw the run he got off, even on the bottom side. What a good move there by Lattimore. Now he's going to work to the inside of the 5.
Look at that run underneath him. And another chop right there by the 5. AJ Scarborough not giving any room to 0-3 Thomas Lattimore. Thomas Lattimore has to be careful he doesn't lose his composure, because I know myself that would not be very fun getting chopped twice in a half a lap.
You know, and this isn't a short track column technically, but short track temper is certainly a big part of racing here at Phoenix. And when you're kind of around these guys all night, especially up front, tempers maybe get a little bit out of shape. And like you said, Thomas Lattimore got to keep that composure. We're only on lap 22. He's got those 4 fresh Goodyears. Now he got to go to work and work on passing.
Absolutely. One thing I'm starting to notice, John, Justin Bland does not seem to have a very long run setup. He seems to be having only a 3 or 4 lap setup, because he's really starting to lose positions. At least 5 or 6 laps into a run, as he is right now, he's losing the spot to Wayne Willard, as Wayne Willard moves up to the 4th position. And Nick Groth in the 19th is looking to steal a top 5 spot away from him.
You know, and I can speak a little bit from experience here. I'm not up front a lot at Phoenix, but I know personally new tires on these cars are evil, at least for me. I don't like the cold temps. I don't like the fresh rubber. It just doesn't seem to grip as well. So Justin Bland maybe struggling with new tires, maybe learning here that later in the race, short runs like that might want to stay out. Maybe he likes the old Goodyears better.
And that's definitely an idea, John, because, you know, Anthony mentioned in his interview before the race, in his pre-race interview at 87, Anthony Titchener mentioned that he seemed to be better on the long runs than he was on the short run, which is definitely going to be able to play a factor. Probably could prevail a win out for him tonight.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to be getting the lead that he might want. He's only got 0.4 and then 0.7 back to Lattimore, so he's certainly not getting out there. It's going to come down tonight, I think, to a setup and who can get what they need, whether it be a long run at the end or a caution with 20 to go. What's going to happen is going to play a big part. So surviving till then and then getting what you need is going to be the story tonight.
You know, Anthony mentioned, John, in his interview that about Haters Make Us Famous Racing having a live DNS. Right now, they are currently 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 6th. Anthony Titchener, AJ Scarborough, Wayne Willard, and Sean Medlin. I don't want to jinx anything, but they are currently running very well right now at Phoenix.
Speaking of teammates, talking about manufacturer teammates, Thomas Lattimore is a lonely man up there in that Ford. The only Ford I can see in that whole front line of cars all the way back, I think, to the 12 of Rob Burns. So hanging on, flying that Ford flag, and trying. He's trying. He got the 4 fresh Goodyears. Hasn't been able to clear the 5, but still working.
Yeah, John, I think if Thomas Lattimore can get around A.J. Scarborough in the 5, I think he will be able to set his sights towards Anthony. The fact is, it's just so hard to pass. We mentioned it before the race. We mentioned it in the, right now. We'll probably mention it again. But it's just so hard to pass here at Phoenix. Multi-groove racetrack to where the top side gets the run on exit, so you're not really able to stick it on the bottom, no matter how good the tires are. So definitely something to play a factor in the rest of the night.
Pretty much like a Daytona almost, where you kind of have to wait for the guy to make a mistake. You're not going to be able to go out there and take it like an auto club and pass people high, low, wherever you want to go. You kind of have to just wait and be patient. Eventually he's going to slip up and you're going to be able to work by him, but you can't really pass high because he gets the run down into the corner. You can't really pass low because you get pinched off. So you kind of got to bide your time, wait for him. Here he gets a little bit of a run, not going to be able to get it there, but you kind of got to bide your time and wait. Oh, and he's going to push him through the corner of the 5. And that's what we talked about, those short track tempers, maybe a little bit of payback.
No
because
caution
he was
now.
all over his bumper down the front stretch and just did not get off it going into the corner. The 5's going to lose a bunch of spots, and the 3 through to second.
Wow. Now A.J. Scarborough has to be the one to not lose his composure.
We know A.J. wasn't too happy. He had a bad night last night in the Xfinity Series race. He got wrecked early and didn't really regain from that, or recover from that, excuse me. So he's going to kind of have to keep it in check here. He's not going to like that move. I don't know what's being said at TeamSpeak. Maybe it was a mistake and they're all good, but I know from experience I wouldn't like that move, and I don't think he's going to appreciate it too much going forward.
John, I was going to mention something right before that incident there. I just want to point out Rob Burns in the 12, and his number 12, Pennzoil Ford Fusion, has some major front-end damage. I'm not sure I'm not sure if it happened on the restart, but major front-end damage to that number 12 Ford Fusion of Rob Burns. It doesn't seem to be hurting him too much, though.
That front is all smashed in that Ford grille. Not a whole lot anywhere else on the race car. Maybe, like you said, different braking points, different brake biases. He might have just got in there a little too hot and ran somebody over. So looking at the 19, I don't see any immediate damage on his rear end, so I'm not exactly sure where he got that from.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, John, but we mentioned Thomas Lattimore may have to use his bumper to get by A.J. Scarborough, and I said once he got by A.J. Scarborough, he's probably going to set his sights on Anthony Titchener, and he is doing just that, gaining just about half a tenth to a tenth a lap, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but will pay off in the long run for sure. Thomas Lattimore in the 0-3 trying to set his sights on Anthony Titchener in the 87.
And with those new tires, I think they'll kind of play more and more maybe even as we go on. We mentioned new tires, maybe not the best here at Phoenix, but as we work in and those tires have 20 less laps on them, you see maybe about the 40, 50 lap mark when Anthony start really going away. I think Thomas will still be there and maybe make up some ground. He's just got to be patient. He's got to run his race, not worry about Anthony, and I think he's doing just that.
Absolutely, John. As soon as I mentioned Thomas Lattimore gaining something, he loses about a half a tenth back to Anthony Titchener that lap. But A.J. Scarborough really seems to be struggling right now, John. He's losing close to a tenth, maybe even 2 tenths a lap to the leader, Anthony
Luis
Titchener.
Salzmo, sorry to interrupt you there, just threw it in there 3 wide back for about the 12th position and just about took out 3 cars. He is struggling here tonight. I'm not exactly sure what's wrong with that race car, but he is not able to race that like he wants to. Close call there at the 78 or on Jay Miller.
And now, as you mentioned that, John, Kevin Cook is stuck back there right now. He's in the 15th position. Definitely not where he wants to be after being running inside the top 3. He's almost 4 wide right now. Great battle going on, starting with Josh Mayu all the way back to Jeff Hamilton in the 16th position, 13th through 16th. A great battle. Probably not where Kevin Cook wants to be right now, though, as he's running inside the top 3.
You know, and we mentioned that you can't really pass here, so it doesn't matter how fast your car is. You could be an easy top 5 car, but when you get stuck back here in the pack, you're a 15th place car. You just can't run the line that you want to and the pace that you want to. So right now, Kevin Cook, he's struggling because he can't run like a 3rd place car. He's got to put himself back here and methodically make his way through. It's not a track you can really pass 5 and 6 cars, every 10 laps.
Yep. Exactly. And I'm watching Wayne Willard, John. Wayne Willard seems to be really diving that thing in there. He's really good through the center, and he's not able to get the run off because he's not able to stick right now. I'm not sure if he's waiting for that car to come in or if that's just the line he's been used to running, but he's really good through the center. If you can watch him going down in here into turn 1, he really throws that thing into the center, and he gets a huge run through the center, and then it loses it off the exit.
And that could be something with the new rules package. You mentioned these guys, they lost a lot of downforce from last season, or not last season really, but the last race they ran with iRacing picking up the new rules package. So They might be figuring out a little bit with these setups. What happens over a long run is maybe the back end gets a little light. They're not able to make it stick, or the front end plows a little bit. So, yeah, Wayne Willard really struggling with that race car, pushing up off the corner. He's not losing a lot of time, just can't really make any.
I'm starting to look at lap times, John, and these two back here, Thomas Lattimore and Wayne Willard, are really running consistent laps, and Anthony Fitchner in front of him is running a tenth of a lap faster and then 2/10 of a lap slower. He's really inconsistent right now. I'm not sure if something's going on with that 87 machine as he pushes high in 3 and 4. Thomas Lattimore really closes the gap through 3 and 4 that time.
You know, and he is, I believe, you know, I don't know exactly who all took 4 tires in this front group, and I know Anthony didn't, and I know the car behind him did, so maybe he's feeling the pressure a little bit. Maybe that car's going away more than he wants it to, but you're right. He's certainly not running as smooth of a line as he was. I watched him a lot in practice, and he is one of the smoothest out there when it comes to just keeping the car not pushing, not pulling, you know, kind of just on that yellow line, and he seems to be struggling just a little bit with keeping it down.
Oh, we got a good battle going on for second here. Wayne Willard and Thomas Lattimore, you might be using the bumpers here.
Wayne Willard, a very patient driver, but I think he's worked over Thomas Lattimore for quite a few laps. I think he's quite a tick faster, so we'll see if he what he resorts to here to get by him. If he can get by him, he might have something for Anthony, but first you got to get by that 03.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, it really seems that Wayne Willard is a lot better through the center of the turn, as Thomas Lattimore is a lot better on exit, just able to get that run off. And as I say that, Wayne Willard gets a great run off turn 4.
Good battles all over this racetrack. Nick Groth and George Price going at it for that 9th and 10th spot. Right behind them, the 50 of Matthew Jordan, and then that 45 of Kevin Cook, looking to make his way back into the top 10. But good racing all over the track. Nick Groth seems to be struggling a little bit. Maybe it's just that corner, but 48 closes quick and, yeah, loose off the corner. Nick's got something going on with that car that he doesn't like.
And you mentioned it, John. Guys, this is where everyone's coming back on even ground. Stops under yellow.
Wayne Willard gets a little loose there, but Thomas Lattimore up to that 4th position.
Oh, Thomas Lattimore and Justin Bland both from the wall.
And both recovered nicely. Justin Bland hangs on to it around that outside.
Wow.
What a save by both drivers.
What some great racing here for the top 3 spots, John.
Thomas Lattimore not going
Wayne
anywhere.
Willard drives it in hard.
Tell you what, that 03 car not afraid of losing anything there. He drives that car right back after the mistake and passes Justin Bland.
Justin Bland, what's he doing here? Is he going to pull down pit road?
Justin Bland might have some further issues with that race car. Looks like he's going to bring that number 65 Chevy SS to pit road. Tough break for him there. Got up into that race, or up into that wall. Not sure what's wrong with that race car, but unscheduled pit stop for Justin
It doesn't
Bland.
look
Tough
like
break.
anything major, but maybe he superheated the tires. Maybe he got a wrong set of Goodyear tires. Maybe a flat tire or something up here.
And I know you mentioned the iRacing new flat tire thing. Maybe rubbed it the wrong way, got himself a flat tire.
Nick Groth will go another lap down. That's going to put him 6 laps down. And while we're in commercial break, John, Sean Medling's connection has fell through, and he's going to lose 4 laps, it looks like, after such a promising run. His number 37 machine, 102.5. 102.5 the Bone Chevrolet SS. Really a tough break for him. Really unfortunate. He's about to go 5 laps down.
You know, one of my favorite paint jobs here, to be honest. That 102.5 the Bone Chevy looking good, but bad break for him. You see him there low on the racetrack. Looks like he might be bringing that car back around to pit road. Tough break. Unfortunate break, we like to say, for these guys out there tonight. But Anthony Titchener still holding on that lead. I think he's led just about every lap tonight, if not every lap tonight. So Aaron Berge out. Anthony Titchener steps up. We mentioned he might be the front runner. He always runs second. No exception here tonight.
No, he has not led up every lap tonight, John. AJ Scarborough did lead the first few laps here at Phoenix before succumbing to the lead of Anthony Titchener.
You know, I'm so used to him or Aaron being on the pole that apologies.
What a good recovery by both Kevin Cook and Luis Salmazo, both running 6th and 7th respectively. Luis Salmazo, remember, was really struggling with the setup of that car early on tonight, and started back in the 15th position, but really recovering well up to the 7th position now. Seems to be holding off Joey Lamb fairly well.
Yeah, great run for him there in that 72 Red Bull machine. We mentioned, as you said early on, he was struggling. He was in a few different incidents, not wrecks, but a few contacts here and there. He lost it a few times, put it in the wall, but a good recovery. He stuck with it, got the damage patched up, and he's fighting his way. Might be looking for that top 5. I think he's got the car. Maybe a few more tweaks here, and I think he can do something with it.
And I believe in our ECR MOTV predictions, John, I believe he was one of the predictions to win from, I believe, Team owner Nick Olson. It was a prediction of Luis Salmazo getting the victory tonight.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's a good run for him so far. He's managed it. I mean, with all the damage and incidents he's had to be where he's at, certainly a good omen.
The one dark horse I'm really looking at, John, is Wayne Willard in that 0-1. He's been consistently, after that first pit stop, up in the side of the top 5. He's holding off Thomas Lattimore for 3rd right now. And he wasn't that fast in practice or qualifying, starting back in the 7th row in the 13th position. Consistently inside the top 5, excuse me. And he's running 3rd right now. So good run by Wayne Willard in that 0-1 machine.
I almost hesitate anymore to call him a dark horse. He's run so well this season, he just hasn't gotten the finishes. We saw he won the duel in Daytona, started well in that race, tough break. Was running well in Atlanta. We called his name a few times. I believe he got caught up in a tough break there. And then here tonight, we're calling his name again. So, and a caution on the racetrack. Looks like the number 9 car caught up in something here.
If he's the cause of that one, probably not good for him. That would be his 2nd cause yellow flag.
Let's see what happens. The 9 car here, you see him down in turn number 3.
And it looks again, he got loose and just got tagged.
Got Sean Medley a few laps down right behind him there. Just snaps loose off the corner. Not good for Nick. Remember, we do have the 2 caution and your DQ'd rule. I believe the first one he caused, or the first incident with him involved was Nick, and not good for him. That car all tore up there, that number 9 Xbox Toyota.
And we mentioned the Toyota not running well and not very good for him anymore, as he's probably going to be done for the night, and will probably finish in the 22nd position.
We'll have to get an official word from the race control on what exactly happens with Nick. Even if he's not done with as bad as that car's tore up the rest of the night, not going to be that fun for him. It looks like your front 3 stay out. The 03 makes a move to pit road, and not many follow.
Joey Lamb looks like. George Price in the 48
looks like the back of the pack's
going
to come down, but the 03 going to lose a lot of spots there. Pitting out of 3rd position, or 4th position, excuse me. It looks like he'll fall.
Looks like led for Motorsports with the exception of Rob Burns. It looks like a lot of the back of the field came down. You mentioned it there. One guy who I really see struggling tonight, we usually talk about him running up front, John, is Mark Figueroa in the 00 National Guard machine. Really struggling tonight. He hasn't been able to run really well at all. And we haven't talked about, but he's been able to stay out of trouble. So that's probably the best part right there. And as you see, Justin Bland, remember, he got that problem on the restart. He's going to get the lucky dog right now. So that'll keep Charles Silver 1 lap down in the 18th position, excuse me, the 19th position. And Justin Bland will go back on the lead lap.
One thing to touch on that 00 there, I'm not sure, I haven't been keeping that close of an eye on it, but watching my ticker here, I keep seeing him flash in and out of connection. He might be having a connection issue, might be just riding here tonight, not racing, getting in anyone's way with that blinking car. Just riding for points. Not exactly sure if that's the case. I have been noticing a little bit of connection issue. I'll have to keep a closer eye on that, keep you guys updated. But certainly running back, where is he now, 17th position, not what we're accustomed to from that 00 car.
Absolutely. And see if we can get a rundown here, John, after stops. It looks like, I believe, the top 8 stayed out. Anthony Stitcher and AJ Scarborough will restart on the front row once again, side by side. Wayne Willard, we talked about him. He's going to restart 3rd. Rob Burns is going to restart his number 12, Pennzoil Ford Fusion, all crumpled up. He's going to restart on the outside 2nd row. Kevin Cook, we talked about him recovering nicely, and Luis Salmazo also recovering nicely. They're going to restart in the 3rd row, 5th and 6th, respectively. Matthew George is going to be 7th. Josh Mayu, 8th. Thomas Lattimore and George Price, the first 2 guys off pit road, and they're going to restart 9th and 10th. So, John, we got a mixture here. We weren't green for that long. I believe only 8 or 9 laps. So I think pitting there probably not the best decision. And I think some guys like Josh Mayu and Matthew George, who are running in the latter part of the top 20, probably a good decision of being able to stay out there.
I have to wonder here, Colin, and I don't know exactly the numbers here, but with pitting there, I don't know if it puts them in a fuel window, if they think maybe they can catch a few more cautions. I don't know if they can stretch it almost 100 laps or 100 miles on a tank of fuel, but certainly it gets them a little closer. I doubt that would be the strategy play. I'm sure it was for tires, but maybe puts them a little closer to that window. But we'll have to see if it's worth it. Like you said, I agree. I don't think it's, after only 9 laps, tires don't fall off a lot here with the tire model. So
Well, here, John, rounding out the rest of the lead lap cars, Ron Miller in the 78 and Chuck Carroll is going to restart 11th and 12th. Chris Coy is going to be in 13th. We haven't talked about him at all. Joey Lamb in 14th. He's in the 81 car. Mark Figueroa is struggling all night. He's in 15th. Jeff Hamilton also struggling a lot tonight. He got the extra seat time. Doesn't seem to be paying off so far tonight. He's in 16th. Justin Bland got the lucky dog. He's going to be in 17th. And Sean Medling was given the EOL there. So Nick Geilis is not given the double EOL. But definitely a lot of damage to that number 9 machine. As we get ready to go back green, pace car is about ready to pull off, and it is, and they're gone.
Looking down from the Goodyear blimp here, Anthony Ditcher yards the field.
Oh, tire spin.
Ooh, almost a lane change pre-start finish line there. I think that was tire spin, though, so I think he'll be okay. But close there for Anthony Ditcher. See him pushing high in turn one. Something wrong with that 87 car.
Definitely a tough run as his teammates in the 5 and the 01 look to capitalize. Not sure if they're going to be able to. Thomas Lattimore in the 03 has those 4 fresh tires. He wants to make use of them. What a move the 03 is making back there underneath the 72. That's for 7th position. That 03 is coming with a head of steam, John.
And folks, when we say it's hard to pass here, we mean it's hard to pass. And that 03 made it look easy there, taking probably 3 cars down the backstretch.
4 positions on that 1 lap, John.
That was crazy for the 03 there. He wants that lead.
He wants to
He
make
knows
use of his
the car.
teammate right now. Underneath the 12 of Rob Burns, that's for the top 5 position. And what would happen, John? I know we mentioned it there in the chat box with Nick Olson. What happens if Thomas Lattimore gets back to the 5?
Gonna be interesting to see how those two race each other. It's been a few laps now, but a race car driver never forgets. So if he gets back there, I think AJ might just not give him the spot as easily as he might have before. So it'll be fun to see
well, he
if he gets
wasn't
by
going to give
him.
him easier before. That's why he had to use the bumper. So
if he thought that was bad,
Never
I'd
know.
hate to see what the 5 does to him now. Because the 5 didn't exactly give him a lot of room to begin with. So if he gets back
Luis
there now,
Salvaso in the 72 looks to make a move on the 12. Not sure if he's going to be able to get it done this time. But Anthony Ditcher not being able to pull away as well as he has.
Yeah,
AJ
there.
Scarborough wants that lead.
AJ, I think at any point, if Anthony slips up, AJ is going to drive right by him. He is 3/10 back and coming. I don't think he's going away anytime. And Wayne Willard right there hanging on as well in that 01.
Yeah, John, he's there. I mean, don't count him out by any means. And Kevin Cook with a beautiful recovery.
What a
all the way
rebound for
back
him.
after making probably a very, some may say, stupid, I'm going to call it questionable call right there. So definitely a nice rebound for that 45. Seems to be the only Apocalypse Motorsports driver that's really going to have anything for a victory tonight.
And I think Kevin Cook, remember, he won Daytona, or won Daytona in the Xfinity Series, and I certainly think he can get it done. He's a very fast race car driver. He's one of those guys that kind of hangs around, and
Yep.
I think tonight might be his night. He gets past Wayne Willard here, AJ Scarborough, and then you got your leader. But certainly not going to make it easy. A 4-car breakaway, I think, here tonight.
Along with Thomas Lattimore and George Price, he is the only other driver, with both races inside the top 10 so far. He doesn't have any top 5s, but he's one of 3 drivers to have finished both races inside the top 10.
And as we know, it is a win-in-your-in scenario, but consistency certainly pays off at keeping your car up front. It's not exactly like the old point system where consistency got you a championship, but consistency is certainly going to keep you up there where at any point could be your night. But going to be tough tonight. The 03 closing in on his bumper, and these guys up front certainly not going to roll over.
I've been watching these top 5, John. They're really pulling away. I'm not sure if it's from the 12 having that front end damage. It doesn't seem to be slowing them down too much on the straightaway. But those top 5, the 87, 5, 01, 45, and 03, all seem to be pulling away pretty easily with no problems. It's Justin Bland, John. I want to mention him. He had that trouble on the green flag run, but he's really able to rebound nicely. He's up to the 13th position now after receiving the lucky dog. So he's making moves back in the field, trying to get back up to where he was inside the top 5.
He's going to be in one of those spots like Kevin Cook was, I think, where he just needs some cautions. He's not going to be able to do it all green, but I think if he can get some cautions, pass a few cars every run, he'll get himself back up there. He's rebounding. He's driving nice. He hurt the car, so looking strong. Joey Lamb inside George Price here for position back in the field, but certainly a lot of good battles out there. A lot of guys driving really well. We haven't really seen that a lot. Guys have struggled early on in the season, some of these guys to find setups, but tonight they're hooked up.
The one guy I'm really watching, John, or the one battle I should say, is the 01 and the 45. Very similar paint schemes, kind of throwing me off a little bit. The 01 seems to be a lot better on entrance through the center, but the 45 is a lot better on exit. It's a huge run, and it's right back up the bumper at the end of the turn.
And right behind them, Thomas Lattimore is a 45, makes a move, and Wayne,
onto the apron.
the respectful driver Wayne is, gives him that lane, but the 03 right there. And that might cost
And we know
Kevin a
Thomas
spot.
Lattimore wants to go. We mentioned it before, John. Thomas Lattimore doesn't have anything to lose.
That is true, and that could have factored into his move earlier on the 5 car of A.J. Scarborough. He is already in the chase, essentially, unless we somehow pull off 13 different winners this season. But he is in the chase. He's already locked in, so he's got nothing to lose. All he wants to do here is win or get a teammate to win. So
Yep.
that bumper is certainly not out of play for him, maybe more than anybody else in the field.
And John, we've seemed to be accustomed to interviewing Thomas Lattimore after the race inside the top 3 podium finishers. So he wants to get right back up there. He wants to make that a consistent.
Oh, contact, 45. What a save by Wayne.
What a drive.
And look who's going to take advantage of that. Thomas Lattimore,
back to third.
like it's
Oh,
practice, passes both of them. What a save, though, by Wayne. He just didn't know the 45 had a nose there. 45 maybe drove it a little too hard in there and just clipped him.
And I think the respect is mutual there, and I think they both realized that. They probably were both in the wrong there. I think Wayne didn't realize the 45 was going to throw it down in there and came down on him. And the 45 probably put it where he shouldn't have. But mutual respect between the two drivers there over the radio chat. And remember, we do have a system here on iRacing to where all the drivers can communicate to one another during the race. So definitely mutual respect there. Both clean drivers, essentially. So probably not the worst thing there.
No love lost there, certainly. Both those guys, probably some of the nicest guys in the league there. So they'll rebound. I'm sure it didn't hurt that none of their cars were tore up, but they'll be all right going forward. Thomas Lattimore, the big mover there, got by both of them. He's up into that 3rd position.
And John, I just want to point out, I'm not trying to cause any problems here, but I just want to point out who is the next car for the 03 to get to.
I knew you were going to say that. He's not exactly close, but it is the next car on Thomas Lattimore's bumper by about 1.7 seconds. Is that number 5 car of A.J. Scarborough.
Oh, the 5 got real loose there off turn 4. He's getting closer and closer to the front bumper of the 03 once again.
And
I gotta love drama, John.
Going inside the mind of A.J. Scarborough, I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world for him to get back to that 03. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know him that well, but I don't think that would be the worst thing. As any race car driver wouldn't be the worst thing to get back to the guy that bumped you.
Exactly.
Especially, you go to a track, some tracks, the faster tracks, it happens, and you really can't do anything about it. But here at Phoenix, you can get some payback pretty swift, and you'd rather get it taken care of if you're going to get it taken care of this week.
And I just want to point out, John, that contact that the 03 and the 5 had earlier was a picture-perfect bump and run by Thomas Lattimore. He didn't wreck him. He didn't get the 5 any significant damage, and he was able to gain the position. So a picture-perfect bump and run by the 03, definitely. But the 5 seems to be falling farther and farther back. Anthony Thischer, I'm not sure if he's running better laps or what, but Anthony Thischer running very fast right now, pulling away from A.J. Scarborough in the 5.
And like you said, the picture-perfect bump and run, and maybe that plays into A.J.'s mind a little bit where he knows it's racing and it's short-track racing and that stuff's going to happen. But if he had wrecked that car, I'm sure the tempers would be a lot more heated than they even are right now. His ability to hold on to it might have helped a little bit, but certainly not going to forget about it. You know that it's part of racing, but not exactly a part these drivers enjoy too much. On the receiving end, I should say. If you're on the giving end of that, it feels fantastic, but on the receiving end of that bump and run, not the best spot to be. Wayne Willard was up into the top 3 early on. Now he's kind of fallen back. He had that contact with Kevin Cook. Might have messed with his head just a little bit, or maybe even the race car. The 12 going to go by him here, Rob Burns. He's going to kick him outside the top 5 back to 6th. Wayne Willard got a bit of a gap between him and 7th, but he's going to fall outside that top 5, at least for the time being.
And how about a consistent Rob Burns has been, John? He finished just outside the top 10 at Daytona, and he finished inside the top 5 at Atlanta 2 weeks ago. He's in 4th place in points, only 16 points behind his teammate and owner, Thomas Lattimore, for the points lead. So great job by Rob Burns, and he's consistently inside the top 5 right now.
And we mentioned earlier, consistency is certainly very important when it comes to this chase. You can obviously go out there and you can win a race and then finish 25th for the rest of the season, but come chase time, you're going to want that consistency. So if he can maintain that throughout the season, it will play big dividends coming into the chase. So good run by Rob Burns. He just went in that top 5 position and looking for another one of his, what we've become accustomed to, solid nights.
See if we can go down through the field, John. Anthony Titchener and AJ Scarborough, Thomas Lattimore seem to be the three drivers to watch tonight. There's three drivers who we've talked about all night long. Probably the three fastest cars. They started first, third, and fourth, so probably the three guys we'll have to look for tonight. AJ Scarborough starting to reel Anthony Titchener back in, still about a half a second behind, but excuse me, Thomas Lattimore is going to be third, and Kevin Cook in fourth position is Rob Burns. We just mentioned him getting by Wayne Willard for fifth. They're running fifth and sixth respectively.
Round that your top 10 here, Luis Salmazo with a nice recovery up to 7th. Matthew George in the number 50 and 8th. George Price, 48. Thomas Lattimore's teammate at Leadfoot in 9th. And then Joey Lamb, number 81, right down your top 10.
Luis Salmazo must have had a problem down the backstretch because he just fell all the way back to just on the end of the top 10. Lost Matthew George, lost George Price, and the lap car of Nick Groff in the 19.
Going to go back and take a look
Something
here,
wrong
actually,
with the 72.
replay. That's exactly what happened. He's outside of George Price. Maybe just falling back. Maybe missed it there. They're already passing there. So something happened, I think, into turn 1 that maybe tweaked his car a little bit. He seems to have recovered okay now. But
It looks like he overdrove in turn 1. Had the 50 underneath him and really overdrove it into turn 1.
You know, and one thing we haven't touched on a lot, well, we've touched on, obviously, the battle between AJ and Anthony, but one thing we haven't touched on is something no one was able to do with Aaron when he won in dominant fashion at Atlanta was just no one was able to put pressure on him. No one was able to make him use his stuff. No one was able to make him think. And AJ's doing that right now to Anthony. He's not letting him rest. He's not letting him back off and save. He's up there really making him use his stuff. He's right there actually closing now to within 0.3. So maybe making him use those tires, not letting him save like Aaron was able to. And he's going to give him a run, I think, down the stretch.
Exactly, John, and I'm just waiting for, like I said, we mentioned earlier, it's so hard to pass here, and Thomas Lattimore seems to make it look easy, but necessarily it is hard, and I think track position is so key here that you're probably going to see a lot of pit strategy come down to the latter parts of this race.
And we mentioned on that last caution how some guys pitted, some guys didn't. I think that'll factor in. I saw Nick Olson mention in the chat that when it comes down to the end of the race, maybe a splash and go in 2 tires for those guys that pitted and that last caution, and maybe these guys that didn't are going to have to take more fuel on the 4 tires. So it could come down. Anthony Titchener with a big push in turn 3. AJ Scarborough, I think, is going to be there on exit.
We got battle for the lead, John, with just under 70 laps to go, 68 to go that time by. And it's definitely a close battle here. Can AJ Scarborough capitalize on the problems that Anthony Titchener has occurred?
You know, and I think Anthony's just using those tires up. AJ's really stayed on him. AJ's kind of run his race and managed, and I think Anthony's used up those tires maybe a little more than he wants to. He's struggling now to keep that car down and keep it under control. So I think AJ's worked this strategy to perfection. You don't necessarily have to pass a guy to beat him. You just got to make him use up his stuff.
And you mentioned it, John. He's doing exactly that. He's making him use it up, and he's putting pressure on him. And Anthony is definitely, I don't mean to sound bad, but Anthony is definitely one of the more inconsistent drivers when it comes to running up front. He can definitely be one of the fastest drivers out there, but he's one of the drivers that beats himself. If you know what I mean when I'm saying that, he beats himself more than other drivers beat him.
No, you're exactly right. We saw it in Atlanta. I think he had a problem where, or not Atlanta, excuse me, the Xfinity Series race where he had an issue where he practiced and he worked and he had a fast, you know, not a setup, but he was fast at the track and he just made a mistake. And it can happen. And we see some drivers that suffer with it and they struggle throughout the season with consistency. Now, Anthony, I think, is going to be fine. He's obviously going to grab a victory, I think, at some point this season. So it doesn't necessarily have to be consistently up front, but coming towards the end of these races here, now he's kind of gapped him a little bit. I think it's important to kind of manage a little bit and maybe even slow it up.
And John, we saw it in one of our first broadcasts last year at Texas in the Xfinity Series, to where he was up there with Aaron and he just beat himself. Now, caution flag is out. Looks like Nick Groth or AJ Scarborough. Wow, what a save AJ Scarborough had. Not sure if he was the cause of the caution.
I don't think so. We'll go back and take a look. I think that was
No, the
AJ
caution was
getting blowed
in
up
George
here.
Price, John. George Price, wow. Got loose off
right
turn
into
4.
Nick Groth.
Oh,
Nick's night goes from bad to worse. Just lost it. Couldn't get that car saved down the front stretch. And we'll go back here. We'll take a look at what happened to AJ after that.
AJ got real loose off turn 2 once the yellow flag came out.
Caution's already out at this point. Wow, what a almost race-ending mistake from AJ. What a save. He had that car at one point 90 degrees to the right, angled straight for that outside safer barrier, and somehow got that car whipped back, and that was after the caution, and saved it. That might be your move of the race right there, folks. Make a note of that. That could be the race-winning save.
And I just want to point out, John, that George Price's streak of top 5s seems to be coming to a close here with the major damage to his 48 machine.
I will say, I think Nick Groth got the worst end of that, but it's like a really
Yep.
bad fist fight. There's really no winners there. Both cars pretty tore up. See the back end
And
of the
for our
48
friend
missing.
Nick Olson, John, for our friend Nick Olson in the chat box, driver Charles Silver is finally back on the lead lap in 18th position. He just got back on the lead lap, so 18th position for Charles Silver, and see if he can recover from that early mistake. And we got 2 tire call, it looks like. Wayne Willard.
A race off pit road, going to go to Wayne Willard. Took those 2 tires. Anthony Titchener out second, and Thomas Lattimore out third. The 5 car of AJ Scarborough gonna
AJ
lose the spot.
Scarborough way back there. AJ Scarborough just coming off pit road now, way
Go
back.
back and take a look. Something. I would assume something had to happen, no? Let's see if he misses a box or something here. No, he's in his box.
I'm wondering
fine.
I'm wondering if he maybe got caught speeding, John.
Oh, what a heartbreaker that would be. It would have to be coming in, you would think, right? He's the last stall in pit road. You couldn't
Yeah, I
possibly
see where he was
speed by
going
those green
46
cones.
and 47. The beginning
He
of
sits
pit road,
there a
John, he was
long
going
time
about
here.
47.
After
Yeah.
his jack drop, so you would have to think either speeding or he
Probably a
occurred
speeding pen.
some kind of damage, an odd.
He didn't
yeah.
have any damage.
As soon as the last car passes him, he takes off. I'd have to think that's a speeding penalty there,
Yeah,
or a really odd coincidence.
definitely. John, you know what I'm going to use.
Does it start with a U?
It does. Unfortunate for the number 5 car, John, and it goes back to what we were talking about with Anthony, to where you mentioned it earlier in the race that Phoenix is essentially where you are the only person that can beat you. It's definitely a factor of that right there for AJ Scarborough. But the big winner on pit road, John, Wayne Willard in that 0-1 machine. He is the new leader. Wayne Willard in the 0-1. Anthony Titchener in the 87 is going to be second. Thomas Lattimore in the 0-3 is third. Rob Burns on the outside of row 2. He's going to be in the 12. He's going to restart fourth. And Kevin Cook's going to round out your top 5. Good recovery for him.
You know, I never want to question someone's call when it comes to Wayne Willard, but 2 tires, when you're already that solid of a race car, I don't think 2 tires is going to win you the race, and you were already up there in track position, so I'm not sure on that strategy call. I'm obviously not in the head of the race car driver. He might have something different planned, but Wayne was having such a good night. He was running in the top 5. Interesting call to take, too. I don't think it's going to keep him out front, and it might cost him more than it gets him here.
I don't mean to contradict you there, John, but we've seen that Anthony Titchener doesn't seem to be able to pass well unless it's fairly close. I mean, I think Wayne Willard, as long as he can get a decent restart to where he gets maybe 2 or 3 car lengths out, I think he'll be able to hold him off. If he can hold him off for 5 or 6 laps, he's going to be able to find and hold him off, because it is so hard to pass it. We've mentioned that before.
That is true, and I guess, you know, if you don't have the race-winning car per se, you've got to go out and make something happen. It's certainly the time to go. It was going to be, 61 laps to go when we go green.
Thomas Lattimore right up on the bumper. Anthony Titchener beat him back to the line there.
Anthony Titchener hard charging around that outside.
Can he make it stick on the outside? I don't think he can. Thomas Lattimore is going to make it 3 wide down in the apron.
Wow,
3
what a
wide for
move
the
by
lead
Thomas
down-
Lattimore.
3 wide for the lead down into turn 3.
And Wayne does
Wayne
a smart
Willard.
thing and gets out of it there.
Yep. Oh, gets cut off by the 45. Contact between them earlier in the race.
And Thomas
Wow.
Lattimore is there when it comes to Anthony Titchener for that race lead.
He really backed off into entry 1, so I'm wondering if maybe he's going to try to get a huge run off turn 2, and he's doing exactly that.
I think Thomas Lattimore might have the car for him. I think he's adjusted on it all night. I think he's got that car where he wants it, and I think he can go get that lead for Anthony.
And John, the guy I'm trying to watch right now is the 5 of AJ Scarborough, and he makes contact with the lap car Van Vincent.
I completely forgot. This is going to be fun to watch, watching AJ. This is like watching a Jimmy Johnson or a Jeff Gordon come from the back of the pack. A guy that's fast, knows what he's doing, he's experienced on iRacing, and he wants to get back to that front.
And John, all he has to do is keep his composure. We've seen guys go back to the front We've seen Kevin Cook and Luis Salmazar do it. We see Justin Bland. He's already back inside the top 10. So we've seen guys being able to recover. He just needs to keep his composure. And AJ is one of those guys that you can lose your composure very easily with him. So he's going to have to do something. 58 laps to go this time by. He gets loose off turn 4.
He is driving the
Scarborough.
wheels off that race car right now.
And I think that's a bad decision, John. I really think it is. I think consistency. I feel like it has somewhat of a green flag run to it, to where you are fastest in practice. You started on the pole. You know you're fast, obviously, just by hot laps it himself. I really think he needs to take it easy and just be consistent on this run.
We are getting to that point in the race, though. We saw on Sunday with Matt Kenseth where you get bad breaks late in the race. It kind of amps up that pressure, and I think he's feeling it. He knows he's got to get past as many cars as he can before another caution comes out. He wants to have any shots, so maybe overdrive it a little bit, but in the end, you got to go and you go. Back to the lead here, the 03 still stalking. Anthony Titchener somehow has maintained about a 4/10 second gap over everybody that's challenged him tonight. Insanely good management. There's, Lattimore maybe touches the wall a little bit.
Yeah, he lost a whole 10th there, John, to Anthony that lap. But it really seems to be, Thomas seems to be backing off the entrance, a lot like Kevin Harvick did this past Sunday. He's trying to get the run down the straightaway, but Anthony seems to be getting in hot, and he's been able to make it stick. But the question is, can that work on the long run? Will the tires be able to stick?
Well, we saw it almost costing the lead when that caution came out. I think AJ Scarborough was going to get it and got lucky there with that caution, but those tire management, we come down that most likely going to be, barring a caution, our final pit stop of the race. AJ Scarborough out of the shape on the back stretch, or front stretch, excuse me. What a save there. Has to get way out of the gas. Lets the 61 of Josh Mayu by, keeping tabs on his charge from the back. He's driving that race car so hard.
Oh, he makes contact with the wall. Hard contact with the outside wall off turn 2.
Yeah, I think he's frustrated with himself now. He's had not a great race. We mentioned not a great season, so tough drive. And when you get back in traffic, a lot of times your frustrations come out in ways they shouldn't right now. He's just putting it all into that gas pedal and maybe costing himself some time.
And that goes back to John, where he's probably mad at himself for getting that speeding penalty. We assume is what happened. But he's probably just mad at himself, and he's going to get more mad at himself the harder he drives. He really just needs to relax right now. And the irony is very real right now, because I'm one of those drivers, John. I'm just like him. I get ticked off so easily, and I stay ticked off, and then I drive ticked off, and it doesn't work out that way. You cannot drive ticked off as he gets loose down the front stretch. Same thing happens.
Second time in a row. I'm telling you, he's putting all that frustration in that gas pedal. He is slamming that thing off the corner. I was going to say, which almost any race car driver knows, and I know you know it very well, when you drive frustrated, you don't drive fast. You feel like you're going fast because you're driving the car so hard and you're wheeling it, and you feel like you're making time, but in all honesty, you're just tearing your stuff up. And right now, he's getting ready to really tear his stuff up. He comes off the corner sideways like that again.
And not to mention, when he screws up like he just did, Aaron Vincent in 49, a lapped car, a 3 laps down car, gets in front of him, and then it has to be even more frustrating having to ride behind a 3 lap down car.
Yeah, when you see that blue text on your relative when you're already having a bad day and then they pass you, it can certainly make for a frustrating day. I feel for him out there. We've all been in that spot where you know you've got a fast race car, and you can, well, maybe not me with the fast race car, but you know you've got a car that can compete and can go out there and run well, and it just doesn't go your way. And you find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. We're coming around 51 to go that time by. Going to be working 50 to go next time by. So we're winding the laps down here. Anthony Titchener's gapping Thomas Lattimore just a little bit. It was 0.8 last time by. So could be looking to notch his name in that chase with Aaron Berge and Thomas Lattimore and get himself a free ticket and a stress-free season.
What a miraculous week this has already been for Anthony Titchener. We heard him mention it in his pre-race interview. He won the NIS race, which is the equivalent to a NASCAR race. It is the NASCAR iRacing.com series race on Sunday night at Phoenix. And he won the Xfinity race on Monday night. And this could be 3 wins in a row, 3 nights in a row with a win, John. So what a week that would be for the 87 Jim Beam Chevrolet for Anthony Titchener.
That would be the complete weekend sweep. That would be the equivalent of winning the Trucks, the Xfinity, and the Cup, of winning the NIS, the Xfinity, and the Cup. So he's looking to pull off the 3-peat, get out the brooms, and sweep it away out here in the desert. We go to Auto Club next week, another track that kind of suits his driving style. I think it's fast and slick and really kind of an Anthony Titchener track. Thomas Lattimore been out of shape on the back. He's going to lose a lot of time. I'm actually going to go back and take a look at that really quick. Talking about Anthony Titchener hot and slick, and See, Thomas Lattimore been all kinds of out of shape back there.
What a save by the 0-3, though.
That, my friends, is counter steering and using all of that apron almost to the inside wall with that car hooked dead right. What a catch by Thomas.
I'll tell you who's running some pretty good laps, John, is Kevin Cook. Now, obviously Anthony Fitchner as well, but Kevin Cook is also running just about half a tenth slower than Anthony Fitchner. But I'm telling you, John, I really think it's going to have to come down to pit strategy and track position to get by Anthony Fitchner and hold him off for the win. I think it's going to have to be a two-tire or a stay out, or just I just don't think anybody's fast enough to pass him and hold him off.
Well, the only guy I thought all night really that could do it was AJ. And AJ,
yep.
Now he's got some damage on that race car, and he's back in the pack. And I mean,
contact just as we talk about it, he
Yellow
spins to
flag is out.
78. AJ Scarborough will most likely receive the EOL on that one.
and
that's
it's
just
going to undo all that process.
Wow.
Let's see what happens. You're down in the turn number 1. AJ trying to get all he can get. Wow, I mean, that was just a flat dump.
Yeah.
Just tried to get more than he could
very,
get there. Tough break there for the 78.
Very unsportsmanlike, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned he's driving way, I don't want to say above his head because I know he's got the talent for it, but way above what his car can do. And, I mean, just trying to get more than he can get there out of turn number 1. He got in the gas way too early. Maybe Ron a little slower and not running the exact line he should be. And AJ tags him. So tough break for Ron. Looks like that left front's all beat up. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Got caught by a driver trying to...
Here we go. Pit strategy, John. Will they come? Will they not? Anthony Fitcher's going to come. Thomas Lattimore, Ron Birds, everybody.
Don't think
And
we'll
Aaron
see anybody
Vincent looks
stay
like-
out. Aaron Vincent, he's laps down. He'll stay out, I believe.
Aaron
That's
Vincent's
another
going
lap
to stay out.
down
And
car.
Sean Medlin will probably receive the wave round. But
Gross a lap down. So
uh,
all the leaders on pit road here, all the lead lap cars.
I don't think Ron Miller really hit anything other than the left front. So hopefully didn't hurt the car too bad to where it is still drivable. So hopefully that 78 can recover nicely from really nothing of his doing. I
Just a
don't wanna
wrong
speak.
place, wrong time there.
And Kevin Cook's going to get out in front of Thomas Lattimore. That's for second.
So 4 tires by all your leaders there. Wayne Willard did take 4 tires this time.
So now he's back on the right strategy, John. I think he's going to be able to get back up there inside that top 3 as he was before.
You know, and Olson brings up a really good point again in our chat box here about retaliation. AJ Scarborough now has to look out for that 78 and Ron Miller. I know we don't, well, we
Yeah.
like drama here, but I know in general you're not supposed to like drama. But that 78 cannot be too happy. He was already back in the pack, probably not having the best night. And now he gets wrecked by a guy just driving out of control. And they're going to be back there with each other. The 5 is probably going to have to come back through the field. So it'll be interesting to see when he gets to him, how he races him after that little bump.
And John, this is not the first time these two have tangled. If you remember back at Daytona, Ron Miller ended AJ Scarborough's run at a Daytona 500 victory on the backstretch, running down on time by hooking AJ Scarborough in the right rear. So it's not like these guys haven't tangled before. These guys got together at Atlanta in the Xfinity Series race where they got together. It's not the first time these two have tangled. They have history together. Could that have played a factor? Not to mention on top of AJ Scarborough's already frustration.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly if he knew who was on his outside, but if he did, I'm sure he didn't lift out of the throttle at all. I think he might have used Ron as a wall there. It didn't look like he tried to stay off him too much, so maybe a little bit of, I don't want to say intentional, but a little bit of malice in that wreck there. But certainly driving wild, out of control. I know AJ, like I said, he's had some tough nights, but he's not at all a dirty driver.
No. Everyone gets up, John, and we mentioned earlier, he's had such a tough break to the front at the beginning of the year. This is our 7th race between the Xfinity and the Cup Series race, 7th race of the year, and he has yet to crack the top 10. If that's not frustrating, I don't know what is.
Well, I don't want to throw myself under the bus here, but I remember a few weeks ago when we were at Atlanta, I think it was Matthew Hibbs I got tangled up with in the Xfinity Series, where I had a fast car, I was running top 5 all night long, and I found myself in the back of the pack in 20th position, and no history with Matthew. I like him, we talk in team speak, and I drove through him down in turn 1. So it can happen to guys that, I know myself, I don't consider myself a dirty driver. It can happen to guys that just get put in bad spots. Now AJ's got to focus in here, he's got to recover, he's still got race left, he can still get points, so got to come back and keep his composure here.
Here we go. Anthony Titcher, Kevin Cook, Thomas Lattimore, Rob Burns, Wayne Willard, your top 5. Joey Lamb, Matthew George, Justin Bland, Luis Salazar, and Josh Mayu round out the top 10. Chris Coy and Charles Silver, 11th and 12th, as the pace car is getting ready to pull off here with a restart with just under 42 laps to go.
And Anthony Titcher not going, and that's going to stack that inside line. Contact back in the pack, and they are gone. Side by side is going to be the battle for second down in the turn number 1 here.
And Anthony Titcher, that's his choice, John. He's been going early all race long, and it's his choice to just make that, hold it off. It worked out for him right there. He's going to get a huge lead over Thomas Lattimore, who's cleared a second over Kevin Cook.
Yeah, we were messing with him in TeamSpeak before the race, but a little restart he jumped on last night in the Xfinity Series. It was borderline early, but it was legal, and ultimately got him the victory. So he is good at playing those restart games.
John, so he is very good at the restart.
Something Jimmy Johnson's been very good at throughout his career, at not doing anything illegal, but just knowing the ins and outs of the restarts.
Knowing the boundaries, exactly.
And Anthony knows those well. He's capitalized on them tonight, going on pace car, holding, stacking fields. He's not doing anything illegal. He's just playing it really, really well, and respect to him for being able to do that.
And, John, we got a battle back in the field for 16th. Ron Miller and A.J. Scarborough.
When you know it.
16th and 17th.
They say when two drivers have a problem, they find each other.
Scarborough.
Ooh, and Ron Miller gets loose, comes right across his nose.
And that's probably not going to make A.J. Scarborough too happy, even though it was nothing intentional, obviously. Just got loose. But
no, that folks, was not retaliation. That was just Ron Miller getting bad at a really coincidental time there.
That would always work so in racing, John.
No, you know, as they say, as soon as the drivers have a problem, they'll find each other around each other. Now A.J. Scarborough going to go up here and make another dangerous move, looking on the inside of Jeff Hamilton. He's got to be careful.
I think
one more caution, and
he already has that one EOL.
Not a whole lot going on in the front of the field, so we'll keep you back here with the wild man of the night, A.J. Scarborough. It's been fun to watch all night. We're not picking on him by any means, folks. He's been fun to watch.
Absolutely. It's like I said, it's nothing of his doing. It's just frustration taking over, John, and it's really all I can say about it, I guess.
You know, a lot of these
he's
sports
really making his way up to the field
that you play by yourself. Well, you know, racing obviously is a very big team sport, but you're by yourself. You don't have constant communication with a team. You see it in golf a lot. It's a lot mental more than it is anything else. And right now, everything that he's experiencing mentally is showing in the car. When you're angry, the car's sideways, it kicks out. It's really rough. So your car essentially is a representation of you when you're on the track. And right now you can see how he's feeling just by the way that car's reacting.
I tell you what, John, these top 8 are running very close lap times. That time by Thomas Lattimore, Kevin Cook ran the fastest lap of those 3. Kevin Cook beat Thomas Lattimore by 0.02 of a second, who beat Anthony Titcher by 0.03 of a second. So these top 3 are all running very close lap times, not to mention the top 8 are also very close, all within a tenth of each other.
And I think that's a product of these guys dialing their setups all night long. They're getting used to the new rule package and how these tires are going to wear, and they're figuring it out. I think these guys have all worked on their cars. They've stayed pretty much in the same positions all night. Some comers and goers, but these guys have kind of hung out in the top 5, top 8 all night long. And now we're getting down to the end of the race, and they're starting to battle, and it's fun to watch. I look back now through the field. Again, we're going to focus on A.J. Scarborough. He's made his way back up to the 14th position and kind of stalled out, maybe slowing down just a little bit here. Got up to the back of Jeff Hamilton, couldn't make it really stick and get digging for him, so he's kind of dropped off a little bit, maybe starting to calm down and focus in. He's still got a lot of racing left, but still get up there and get himself a top 10, so we'll keep an eye on him and keep you posted.
And John, I'm wondering, man, if we get a late race caution here, if you're A.J. Scarborough, do you stay out and do you try to get that track position? You obviously don't want to be around a bunch of cars because you are so frustrated already with being around other cars. And it all started back when he made contact with Thomas Lattimore early in the race. So you probably don't want to be around a bunch of cars. Do you stay out and you try to get track position?
I think if you're AJ, you almost have to stay out. I mean, no matter what. Like, you know you've got the car.
We know he has the speed.
You got the car to stay up there. You just don't have the track position. So if he can go out there and get the track position, he might not be able to get a win, but he can at least, I think he's going to get a better finish than if he pits. Now, obviously, we have to get that caution, and some guys have to pit and this, that, and the other. Now, if no one in front of him pits, I think he pits for sure. I don't think he stays out without any position gain. But I think if it comes down to it, maybe a two-tire stop, or maybe he just completely stays out.
Absolutely, John. How about a good recovery there by Wayne Willard? He's up in the 4th position right now. And he stayed out or he took 2 tires on that one caution. It didn't really pay off. He fell back to the 5th or 6th position, I believe, and he's able to work his way back up to 4th. And he's consistently holding just about 2 or 3 tenths behind Kevin Cook in the 45. So Wayne Willard doing a nice job in that 0-1 machine.
He's done an excellent job tonight. He's not been a guy that's really had anything for Anthony or the lead, but he's been a guy that's consistently been in the top 5. He dropped outside of it a little bit, but he's held station well, and he's kept himself in it. If anything happens with the leaders, they get tangled up here down the stretch, I think, he's the guy to look to take this victory. Good battle here for second. Kevin Cook's all over the bumper of that 0-3. These two mixed it up a little earlier in the race for position. Not anything, contact-wise, but they've been battling all night long. Kevin Cook sideways off the corner, but he's there.
Absolutely, John. I think this is going to be a great battle. I mean, Rob Burns and Wayne Willard, they've both been consistently in the latter part of the top 5 all night long. And when these guys get battling like they are right now between Lattimore and Cook, I think those two right there are going to be able to jump into the battle and maybe get 2nd or 3rd themselves.
You know who loves all this even more is Anthony. I mean, he's out front,
yep,
cruising away. If this thing stays green, he's already got a 1-second lead, and I don't think that's going to shrink much. I think he's kind of saving a little bit seeing these guys race. So Anthony's a very smart racer, and I think if this thing stays green, he's got a pretty good vice grip on that lead.
Yeah, gaining almost 2 tenths a lap, John, because these guys are battling. But I do want to point out, it seems to happen every week when we talk about it, so I kind of want to talk about it just to get the extra drama in there. If, John, there's a caution, Anthony Titchener is in the worst position possible because he is the leader, so everyone out there is trying to do the opposite of him, trying to get everything they can for track position. So if he pits, they're all going to stay out. If he stays out, they're all going to pit. So he's probably in the worst position if a caution comes out right now.
We see it all the time come Sunday where 15 to 25 laps to go, that leader's got that lead, that caution flag comes out, and the hearts just sink on that race team. Not much you can do. If you stay out, everybody pits, and if you pit, everybody stays out. So, like you said, right now, coming down, we've got, 37 laps to go this time by, 38 laps to go, so coming down to that point, or 28 laps to go, excuse me. If something goes, caution-wise here, he's in a really, really, really bad spot.
Absolutely, John. What a battle we have for 2nd place going on right now. 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Wayne Willard gets loose off turn 2. Nice save by the 0-1. Nice job gathering that up. But a great battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and Rob Burns wants to make that for 5th.
It always amazes me here how some of the guys in the lead group tonight have gotten loose off of turn 2, and they've almost made it look intentional because they just straighten it out and cut the dog leg. So good job by Wayne Willard, almost picking up a little bit of time getting loose there, getting down to that dog leg. Certainly sticking right with these guys, not going anywhere.
And absolutely, John, that just comes with seat time, being able to wheel a car. And we mentioned it earlier that this race is going to come down to who can wheel a car the best because of the hot and slick conditions. And so far, it's been Anthony Titchener. He's been the class of the field all night long, and he's doing a hell of a job up there in that number 87 Jim Beam Chevrolet. Getting down here, 26 to go that time by for Anthony Titchener. Over almost a 2-second lead now over the great battle we have going on for 2nd. Lattimore and Cook doing everything they can to hold each other off, get by one another, doing great racing between 2 great drivers. And obviously AJ Scarborough, we mentioned him earlier, he's back in the 13th position, 10.5 seconds behind race leader Anthony Titchener.
I do want to give a shout really quick. If you guys do enjoy this quality of racing, we are live every single Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern Time. You see on your screen right now. My Twitter, Colin's Twitter is the 45 makes a move inside the 3 here. That's for 2nd position. You guys can go ahead and follow those Twitters at ECR_league, at Moist_ online. And we are live here on this Twitch channel Tuesday nights about 9:20-ish. Green flag about 9:40. Qualifying starts at 9:30. So if you guys are interested, come on back. We race every single Tuesday night. And we're just getting the season kicked off. It's only week 4, technically week 3. We have Vegas coming up on the next off week. So thank you guys for coming out tonight. We do appreciate it. We're hopefully going to bring you guys a great finish down the stretch. Close
racing. It may not be
here.
for the lead, John, but it's probably going to be for 2nd place if this thing stays green, because I don't think Kevin Cook's really using everything he has right now, and especially he's not using that bumper, which definitely he could easily do if he wants, as you see the lap car of Nick Groth coming in to play a factor here. And it could always play a factor, lap cars, especially at such a small flat track like Phoenix.
And I had a few incidents last night in the Xfinity race where lap cars try to get out of the way, and sometimes they just can't. There's not, as you said, a lot of place to go here, and it's such a multi-groove racetrack, and it's so hard to get out of the way. See Nick Groff getting a little loose. He's actually missing the front end of his race car, so he's just going to pull off the track and get out of the way. I don't blame him there. 26 laps down
by that number 19 car.
Yeah, it's not much to gain there by even staying on the track and letting these guys pass him and keeping time. He's just going to do the respectful thing and get out of the way. But it's tough here. I mean, you wouldn't think it is. It's a wide enough track, but it's so flat. There's not many places you can put a race car safely. So good move by Nick there, classy move, and now I'm sure these guys appreciate it.
Absolutely, John. And there's not many other battles going on. I see there's a battle for 7th place between Justin Bland and Joey Lamb. We haven't really talked about either of them at all. I don't think we've mentioned Joey Lamb not one bit tonight. And he's up there doing a nice job in the latter part of the top 10, trying to get up to 7th place, trying to work around the 65 of Justin Bland.
You know,
and one guy, John.
Go ahead, Colin.
Go ahead. I was just going to mention the 50 car of Matthew George doing a fantastic job, as he has all season long right now. He's currently 5th in points, and he's trying to build on that right now. As him and Joey Lynn both have been very consistent so far, running 5th and 6th in points currently, and I believe 6th and 8th on the track so far. So doing great job by both of those cars, 50 and 81.
Certainly hang it with it. And I was going to say, just quickly, you mentioned Joey Lamb. They say, you know, Daytona isn't really the benchmark of the season. That's kind of a one-off thing. Atlanta, almost the same thing, kind of. I mean, Atlanta's not really your standard mile-and-a-half track. It's got higher banking. It's slick, and it's, you know, kind of almost dirt tracky, for lack of a better term. And you come here to Phoenix, and I don't know if this is really a benchmark either. I don't really know. We missed Vegas, which I think is really the first, I guess, track of the year where it's just kind of pavement and left turns, kind of whatever you got in your car. The 3 tracks we've run this so far this season are so vastly different that I'm not sure we really have a set yet on who the top dogs of the series are going to be. Obviously, Anthony Titchener's won. Aaron Berge, obviously dominant every week. Thomas Lattimore's been surprising tonight running up front. But I'm really excited to go to Auto Club next week, which, again, I guess isn't really your standard track. But we're kind of starting to see some names emerge, and I'm excited to see who can build on it and keep it going.
Absolutely, John. And it will come down to play factor. I think once we hit that summer stretch where I believe we have, you know, Kansas and then Charlotte and Dover, that early summer stretch where we have, you know, roughly the same tracks, same type of tracks coming up. Usually where you see Tony Stewart in real life really excel the summer series. I think once we get to that point in the race or in the season, that you'll really start to see some names really emerge that will definitely be the championship contenders.
I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. The summer stretch is a really, really good, I think, benchmark for teams to see what they have going towards the last stretch to the chase. You know, these early months, things can go wrong. We've seen guys get caught up in wrecks. It's kind of hard to feel out a race team and a race car. You don't really get any back-to-back tracks that are similar. I mean, I guess, like I said, Atlanta and Vegas, but we didn't race Vegas because of iRacing, so these guys didn't get a chance. We do that the first off week, so.
Just to interrupt you real quick, John, we got a great battle as AJ Scarborough. That was a great battle, I should say. AJ Scarborough just moved by Luis Salmazo. That's for 11th place. And AJ Scarborough really making moves right now. Next on his site is Charles Silver and Josh Mayu for 9th and 10th. AJ Scarborough trying to get back into that top 10. We mentioned it before. Hasn't gotten that top 10 yet this season. He wants one, and he wants it now.
I'll tell you what, I looked down at the ticker not too many laps ago, and he was all the way back almost in, 14th position, and now he's rebounded up to 11th. So he's found something again, maybe conserved a little bit, and he's making that run. Still, Kevin Cook working over the back bumper of that 0-3. Like you said, I think Kevin Cook's saving just a little bit. I think he knows he's not going to get to Anthony, so I think he realizes that the race, if we stay green, is for second, and he's biding his time. He's working him over, maybe waiting for a slip, and Wayne Willard waiting in the wings still. He's not going anywhere.
Exactly, John. Great battle we have going on here for 2nd through 5th, and then just behind them a battle for 6th through 8th, and behind them a battle from 9th through 13th or so. So there's just not one battle going on, and there's a bunch of battles going on except for that lead right now, John. Anthony Titchener has turned into Aaron Berge, it seems as if, for tonight.
And a move for second. Kevin Cook down inside. Pinches just a little bit.
Pushes Thomas Lattimore up. I think he's going to be able to get side by side if he can use the apron here, John. The dog leg side by side as they go down, up the dog leg, down into turn 3. Can he dive bomb?
And they got to be careful. If they spend too much time, Wayne Willard's going to be right there to take it from whoever loses. So these two have to sort of that. We're coming to 13 to go this time by.
Side by side off the turn 4, John. Wayne Willard is there. Kevin Cook trying to use a little bit of side draft that he can get right now as Thomas Lattimore is going to chop him off into turn 1. Wayne Willard looking to capitalize, not going to be able to do it off turn 1.
And when that car comes down across your nose into the corner like that, you don't have to make contact. It just sucks the air off the nose, and it gets that back car so tight. You saw it there with the 45. Wasn't able to get to the bottom. Good racing move by Lattimore. Now maybe the bumper is going to come out. Kevin Cook
It
really
looked like
close
it
to the
there, didn't
0-3 there. It's getting that point. He's saved, he's waited, now it's his turn to go, and Thomas is fighting him hard. So if you're going to use the bumpers now, is when you got to do it.
We got to remember earlier, too, John, I know probably we're talking about the wrong two guys to do it, but Wayne Willard and Kevin Cook made contact earlier in the race. Could you see a little retaliation for a top 3 podium finish? But like I said, I doubt those two drivers will be the ones to get retaliation.
You know, I think Wayne could get to the back bumper of Kevin. I almost think he's waiting to see what happens with Kevin and Thomas here. I don't think he wants to be a part of it. I think he knows that they're going to be racing so hard, and maybe he can pick up the scraps if something happens up there. So Wayne, I think, kind of waiting. He closed up real quick and almost backed off. So he's biding his time. He knows he's still got 10 to go this time by. He's got plenty of time. So he's there. He's just waiting to make his move.
What a battle we have going on back for 11th, John. Luis Salmazo is really driving it in. I don't know if he's trying to get to the 61's bumper, but really driving in turn 3. You can watch it. Wow. He's driving in so hard into turn 3, really overdriving that 72 Red Bull machine right now.
He's got some front end
Not
damage. I don't know what happened there. That might have been something with the 61.
But I don't know if he's attempting to get to the 61's bumper, but he's really taking it easy in turn 1 and 2, and he's able to get a good run off. But turn 3, he's overdriving it. It's probably as much as I've seen anybody do it so far tonight.
Luis doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would get retaliation, but this late in the race, we mentioned those temper slur, maybe just a bit of an overdrive. Maybe the tire slipped out from under him there, but he's certainly trying. Another note to mention, AJ Scarborough up into your top 10, that number 5 car in the 10th position. Charles Silver, the next one, he's about 8/10 ahead. And the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, not going anywhere. Just a quick interval gap for you guys at home. Anthony Fincher has opened up a 4.5 second lead over the rest of this field. So if this stays green, he should effectively cruise home to victory. He can almost throw that thing in third. Your top, Kevin Cook up into the wall. Not a whole lot of time lost there. Yeah, really good recovery.
No, but he really overdrove turn 1 and 2, John.
Losing that composure we talked about, getting a little rattled.
And he falls into the clutches of Wayne Willard in the 0-1, and Rob Burns wants to be right there to take advantage in his number 12 Ford Fusion.
Thomas Lattimore loves this. He's starting to gap him just a little bit out the back. Now Kevin Cook's got to take that defensive line to keep Wayne Willard behind him.
7 to go that time, John, for Anthony Fincher. As these guys come to it, what a battle for second place, John. As Justin Bland got past Matthew George out for 6th place, that's back in the field a little bit.
I'm telling you what, we've been treated to some excellent racing tonight. After Atlanta, where Aaron Berge kind of gapped the field, tonight has been nothing but exceptional. These guys are racing hard, bumping runs, pushes, wrecks, everything you could ask for. And we're going to get a great finish here. Kevin Cook, I don't think, is done with the 0-3. I think he might have something for him here as we get 7 to go that time by. 6 to go,
John,
excuse me.
Yeah, I don't think he's really been using it. I don't think he's using everything he possibly can for that 0-3. I don't think the 0-1 has anything for the 45, which gives the 45 that sense of security, I guess, that he's already in the top 3. And he could basically do anything he wants to try to get second place away from Thomas Lattimore.
Yeah, he got up into that wall, and I think it rattled him just a little bit. He overdrove turn 1, maybe still thinking about it. Wayne closed up, but now he's back. And after that little bit of a chop at the 3, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe a little bit of love given back here, but Kevin Cook's a great driver, whatever he does here.
Really
I don't think it'll be dirty by any means.
Just want to point out, John, that this race is official. No matter what, if we do get a caution flag, the race will be over, as iRacing has not implemented green-white checkers yet. So this race will be official if the caution flag were to fall.
All right, folks, you heard it here next. Caution or checker ends the race from here on out.
What a battle we have
ramps up
going
the
on for
intensity even more. These guys know now any little mistake in this race could be over. Kevin Cook going to move to the inside. He's got that slow lap car in front of him, though.
Will they be able to use it as a pick, or will it turn into a factor? Side by side off turn 2. Can he make it stick on the bottom? He's going to be able to. He's going to cut the dog leg. Not sure if he's going to lose that much time on the dog leg. He's going to come back up. Can he use the bumper? Oh, he really backed it off there. Oh,
that
they're going to be 3 wide right now.
Is driving that car to perfection right now.
He is, John. He's really driving the wheels off that thing.
Kevin Cook has been there about 8 separate times, and somehow that 0-3's kept him behind him. Kevin Cook, I think, has a faster car. That 0-3 is just wheeling that race car right now.
And AJ Scarborough, John, I'm not sure what happened, but AJ Scarborough has fallen all the way back to the 15th position. And he's losing more. Goes back to the 16th position right there.
Oh, that left front is destroyed on the number 5 machine. Contact
not sure
somewhere.
what happened there. We'll have to take a look at the replay later on in the race, but so unfortunate for the 5 car after such a promising run.
Really, definition of a roller coaster. I mean, he was up, battling for the lead, went back, got it back, speeding penalty, went back again, and caution out, race is
Caution
over.
flag is out. AJ Scarborough up in the wall in turn 3 and 4. And Anthony Thitcher, John, is your winner at Phoenix tonight, and he is in the chase.
Anthony Thitcher clenches that chase spot with the AJ Scarborough caution. The 0-3 going to come home second, and the 45 rounding out your podium in third. Looks like the 49. Oh, poor AJ. 49 looks like lost it, came up, and ended what was an already bad night. What a tough break. I feel for AJ. But Anthony going to be the victor tonight. He's going to cruise home at number 87, Jim Beam Chevy. He's going to pull that one into victory lane.
And John, how about the start of the season Thomas Lattimore has had so far? How about that?
It's crazy. Won at Daytona. Finished, where did he finish in Atlanta? Top 5, correct?
I believe he finished third. I believe he finished third.
3 straight top 3s. He's got a first, a second, and a third on the young season. He's in the chase already, and just keeps adding to it. We asked him after Daytona, as this race is now official, as Anthony Thitcher, I believe, takes the checker at that time, where he wanted to be, and he said he was going to help his teammates win. Well, I don't think he's done winning himself. He comes home second tonight, but Anthony Thitcher, your big winner, the number 87, we're going to watch him burn it down, and we'll get your top 3 interviews here in just a second.
Hey, Kevin Cook. This is Colin up here in the ECR broadcast booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Got a copy, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. What a battle you and Thomas Lattimore had for 20 laps or so for that second position, man. You both did a hell of a job. Were you waiting to buy your time? Were you hoping that thing would stay green? Or what was your mindset through that final battle?
Yeah, I was really hoping it would stay green, and I was hoping he'd slip one more time so I could get by him. I thought I had him beat once I had him beat off pit road, but it's hard to keep your spot starting in second on a restart, so I just had to give it to him when we started there, and from then on I was just all over him and I couldn't get around him. It's hard to pass here.
And we mentioned that because that was a major factor all night long, that it was so hard to pass, and we mentioned that with track position if we got another yellow and yada yada, but that didn't happen. You had a good battle. You got really loose. I looked at you got into the wall there off turn 4 with roughly 10 to go or so. What was your mindset when that happened? Were you scared that you were going to lose third and maybe fourth or fifth or whatever?
Yeah, I was pretty sure I was going to the back then, but it seemed like it didn't hurt the car, so I just battled back and tried to get under him again, and I almost had him when we caught the lap car, but I didn't want to slide up into him and get him, so I let him have it back.
Absolutely. And you finished fourth last night in the ECR Xfinity Series race, and you finished third here tonight. A good week for you overall. Are you hoping to carry that momentum into Auto Club, or are you looking forward to Auto Club?
I dread that place. That's my worst track, and I just dread it. And hopefully I can come up with a good setup for the Cup cars and just finish in the Xfinity race is all I'm looking for.
Well, absolutely, man. You started off the season out with 3 top 10s. I believe with the troubles George Price had today, you're probably going to move up to second in the standings. So definitely a great start of the year for you, man. So congratulations on that, and good luck the rest of the season. We'll see you next week at Auto Club.
Thank you, guys.
It's your third place finisher tonight, the number 45 of Kevin Cook, and now we're going to go ahead and grab what I believe is the man of the season so far, the number 3 car, Thomas Lattimore. Hey, Thomas, buddy, it's John up here in the ECR booth. Got a copy?
I got you, John.
Well, you didn't get the win tonight, but that's okay. You're already in the chase, and I just mentioned before we pulled you down here, I think the man of the year so far, you got a win at Daytona, I believe 5th at Atlanta, and you just came home 2nd tonight. What's it feel like to be on such a roll, 3 top 5s to start the season?
Just trying to keep myself composed. It's still early. Still trying to learn the setups. This is my, here in the past month or so, it's really first time getting into it. So I'm learning big time as I go, and I feel like every race I should get stronger. And this race here, I just lacked a little bit. I got into a little scuffle and hit the wall a couple times earlier. I don't know if that hurt the speed, but I made a couple adjustments, and I was able to hang with Anthony there until that last run.
Well, you mentioned the scuffle, and I got to ask you, early on in the race, you got together with, I believe it was the 5 car of A.J. Scarborough. You gave him a little push into turn 1. Was there any words traded after that, or was that just your typical bump and run?
Yeah, to me, that's your typical bump and run. You know, they were on old tires. They had 19-lap older tires. I had the fresh tires, and I wasn't wanting to be real aggressive and get up there and push the pace anyways, and he was chopping my nose off. So, you know, I just let him know I don't appreciate it. He had a few choice words, but I ain't going to scoop to that level.
Well, we certainly commented on it when it happened, and a good bump and run by you. I know Colin and I both appreciated it. But 3 top 5s to start the season. Going into Auto Club next week, are you looking to keep it going, or is Auto Club kind of a struggle for you?
Auto Club's a strong point, so, you know, I'm looking to top 3 him to death.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. He's started hot. He's number 1 in points, and he doesn't look to let up next week at Auto Club. The 3, Thomas Lattimore, good finish tonight, P2, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Auto Club.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
All right, that's your second place finish of the 03 Thomas Lattimore. Now we'll get the man of the night, Anthony Titchener, in the number 87.
I need to go to a different room.
Anthony Titchener, a win in the NIS on Sunday night, a win in the Xfinity Series from the pole on Monday night, and a win tonight, man. Your mindset has to be going crazy. What a week for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so frustrating not getting the pole tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do, man. No. It's been a heck of a week, man. I feel like I'm on top of the world, you know, and especially at a chase track. In the chase now, feels great. This is a chase track, so it feels good to be able to come back in here and feel like we're a little bit ahead of the game. And real proud of my whole team tonight, dude. We had a top 4 going on at one point with the 5th guy at like 7th. We were all right there, and just, you know, racing happened, obviously. Feel really good about it, man. It was awesome racing. Just a heck of a week.
Absolutely, and you touched on it right there. We touched on it during the race that Haters Make the Famous Racing had one hell of a night tonight. And at one point, it looked like you guys were going to finish 1, 2, 3 between you, AJ Scarborough, and Wayne Willett. Obviously, problems happened with Sean meddling, too, with his connection, AJ getting in trouble, and a speeding penalty. But still, I mean, you guys finished 1st and 4th. I think that's you guys' first top 5s all year, not to mention that you guys both are up there now. And, I mean, that's 2 guys inside the top 5. That's a great run for you guys.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. There's nothing more as a team owner that feels better when you have all your guys right there in the top 5. We worked so hard on this setup this week, threw it back and forth, and just got so much feedback. These guys work their butts off. I mean, the amount of work that goes into these setups, and then you go out here and you see your whole team up there. It's a job well done, man. It was just really great. I had AJ on my butt there for a while, man, and he was putting the pressure on. It was just amazing. I actually could not believe it. We were astonished that me, AJ, and Kevin stayed out that first run and did not pit, and was able to maintain the lead. I was like, guys, this is our race to lose at that point. I mean, we're 20 lap older tires here, and they're not passing us. It's our race to lose. And at that moment, man, we were just trying to stay in the game.
Absolutely, man. And you guys just, it seemed as if you were untouchable. I mean, other than, I think Thomas had a little something for you there, and obviously AJ did too, but you were able to hold them off because you mentioned it right there. It was so hard to pass. We mentioned it when Thomas and Kevin were battling for second behind you while you were off, and God knows what land you were in, but I mean, it was so hard to pass. You did a hell of a job of holding everybody off on the restart. We mentioned it, that your restarts were ungodly. You were just toying with the rest of the field. So, I mean, this the momentum that you have has to carry over next week to Auto Club.
Well, you could only hope, man. I mean, it's a totally different track, obviously. We're going a lot faster here. Had guys working on the setup this morning and told me that it feels a lot like Phoenix when it starts to snap loose on you, but the only difference is you're going a lot faster. So hopefully we'll be able to carry it on, man. That's the only thing we can look forward to. Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on your win tonight. Congratulations on your win last night. Congratulations on your win Sunday night. A hell of a week for you, man, and it can only get better from there. Congratulations on your win tonight, man. Good luck the rest of the season.
All right, thanks, guys.
And that was your man of the night, and really, as Colin said, the man of the weekend. Anthony Titchener with the three-peat, won the NIS, won the Xfinity Series here on ECR, and now wins the Cup. So a great weekend for Anthony going forward. Colin, any closing thoughts tonight? I know it was one of the better races we've had this season.
Absolutely. I just want to point out Wayne Willard with a great turnaround. He finished 26th at Daytona. He finished 18th at Atlanta, and he comes home and finishes 4th at Phoenix. So a great turnaround. Hopefully to be able to carry momentum next week to Auto Club. He's had a tough go of it so far, but definitely going in the right direction after a top 5 tonight. And not to mention Rob Burns. We haven't really mentioned him at all this entire season. He's finished in the top 5 twice so far, and he's up there just inside the top 5 in points. So doing a great job there as well.
Certainly a lot of storylines to keep an eye on. We had some rivalry started tonight. AJ Scarborough getting together with a few different people, some different bumps going on. It'll certainly be interesting going to Auto Club next week, what these guys are going to do on the high-speed, not very high-banked corners of Fontana, California. So next Tuesday night, guys, the stream will be live about 9:20. Qualifying about 9:30 and green flag about 9:40, just like it is every week. Right back here on this Twitch channel, so if you guys want to go ahead, come on back next week, 9:30 Eastern. We'll be here. But thank you guys for coming out tonight. Great race at Phoenix. Anthony Titchener notches his place in the chase, and we now have 3 different winners this season. So a great start to the season, and we'll catch you guys next week at Auto Club.